Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk. Live from Sherwood Forest in the heart of Atlanta, Georgia, Hour 1 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. I am your lovable, huggable, mid-morning chat host, Eric Von Haessler. The other voices you hear are the Doctrinaires, man of 1,000 voices, Tim Andrews, lady of quite a few voices in her own right, Autumn Fisher, and the handsomest producer in all of producery, Jared Yamamoto.
Good morning, Eric.
Well, good morning to you, sir. I want to say I did a lot of talking with myself yesterday.
Yeah?
I felt like I was a little negative yesterday. I always walk away from shows where I feel I'm a little bit negative. It makes me reflect on the show. And I don't know that people want me to come in here every single day and talk about how I don't take this impeachment seriously. So I want people to know. So what do we do? And what I decided was, well, we're just going to cover it as the carnival that it is. Yesterday I was watching. I didn't watch hardly any of it. I watched about 1 minute, and I have that comment right from that 1 minute that I watched. I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. But some people, there's been a little bit of a pushback. This is a talk radio show. We're on WSB. And, Eric, you're not taking this historical history seriously enough. You can't just come in every day for the next 3 or 4 weeks and say, I don't consider this thing to be real. So I think maybe people are right. And that's why I want people to know that we have decided to put together our own august impeachment panel and take this seriously. Now, I don't have the budget that a CNN does, or Fox News, or MSNBC for that matter. So, they have like 10 people on the scene. I was on CNN. There's like 19 people. Hey, you just watched something live. Let's talk. Let's tell you what you just saw. So I can only afford 2, but we happen to have gotten, for the Von Haessler Doctrine Impeachment Panel, yes, that's right, the 2 presidents in history that have actually been impeached. Our impeachment panel for the Von Haessler Doctrine. First, Andrew Johnson, 17th President of the United States.
What do I do? Do I talk into this thing there? What do I put my mouth in front of this little doohickey?
You speak right there into the microphone.
And this little doohickey, what is this thing here?
That's you just talk into that and everybody can hear you.
My wife's seen one of these before.
Now, come on, Mr. Johnson.
Look at me. I'm General Grant. I'm up the pole and ready to go.
Andrew Johnson.
Hey, let's send 100,000 men into the woods or they'll get shot.
Andrew Johnson. You're not General Grant. You're Andrew Johnson.
I'm as drunk as he is, though. Little nip before the proceedings.
People may not know you were. You took over after Lincoln's assassination.
Abe who, they said when I took office.
You were impeached and you were saved by 1 vote.
Who's that?
I don't remember.
Dummy didn't give me the day off. I could have gone back to wherever I'm from and where's this music coming from?
Well, it's just behind you. It's what we call
You got an orchestra back here behind you or what?
So Andrew Johnson, and we also have.
Let me get in here.
The only other president that's ever been impeached. That's Bill Clinton. I think more people are familiar with his story.
Not too many people know this fella. He's here. He's in black and white because there's no color pictures of him. But I'm here. You can see my ruddy cheeks. You can see clearly because I don't have any makeup on, all the broken capillaries around my eyes and in my nose.
I call that experience, sir.
He's a drinker too, ain't he? You want to have a little shot with me, Mr. President?
I like you. I like the cut of your jib. You're a cool guy.
So we may be a little late to the party, but our impeachment panel features the only 2 presidents in American history to have been impeached.
Pipe down, you old drunk. Let the man talk. He thinks he's in Washington. He can just stand up there on a dais and yell, and he's not going to be. He doesn't understand all this electrical stuff.
Yeah, you can maybe shepherd.
You mean like Ben Franklin? Is this how this works? You got a kite?
Andrew Johnson, we'll bring you along.
Excuse me.
It was,
I would like to weigh in here too. Hey
you were
guys,
Dick Nixon. You were not you resigned.
Oh, look, it's President Yellowfella.
hey, look,
What's the matter, Dick? Afraid of a little impeachment?
So you guys consider Nixon a coward?
He's yellow.
He ran from impeachment.
He couldn't even do it. He saw all them old Southern senators, congressmen. They knew he was guilty, even his own party.
well,
Get out of here, loser.
He's not a member of your club.
Who elected that guy president? Look at his hair.
All right, let's do this.
Headlines for Wednesday, January 22nd.
A little late to the party, but I think our impeachment panel is a little more august.
I wish that Andrew Johnson had taken a shower before he came here.
They didn't take
good,
showers.
What's a shower?
Good Lord.
Is it raining?
He stinks, Eric.
He showered in whiskey.
Let me throw on some of this fine Indian spice I got.
Call those Native Americans or First Americans.
No, it came from India
Okay.
on a boat.
President
All right.
Johnson, it is 9:09 in the morning, okay? This is way too early.
The reason I knew I wanted Andrew Johnson to be on my impeachment panel is we were having a conversation, and he used the term by the scruff of my chinny chin chin. I said, how did you get out of being removed from the Senate? And he said,
By the scruff of my chinny chin chin.
just one vote. One vote.
What'd this guy over here get impeached for?
Who, President Clinton?
Yeah.
He had a little. It's a big. He lied about getting sexual favors in the Oval Office.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done that.
Shouldn't have done that.
You didn't do anything like that.
Never.
No.
What do I look like, Thomas Jefferson?
You don't look like Thomas Jefferson. I love your references, however. But it's as I looked yesterday, it's so funny. I saw my wife. I didn't want to watch any of it. My wife says, I want to watch it for S's and giggles, as she puts it. And so I just got up and walked away, and I only saw a little bit, but I find it hilarious. The pretend this is an august moment in history. CNN is the impeachment of Donald J. Trump. All right, this ain't 1974, and you ain't Walter Cronkite and CBS and the impeachment. I don't have to take this seriously. It's happening. This is a current events show. But my point of view is that it should be covered as two things: a circus, a carnival, right? And also what it really is. And Anderson Cooper and Wolf Blitzer and everybody else knows this, but they like to pretend that they're covering a real piece of history. They know what I know, what you should know, no matter what side you're on. Impeachment is being used by the Democrats as a tool to try to win back the Oval Office, but if not the Oval Office, more so to win the Senate and put pressure on 4 senators. And if they don't do what the Democrats want them to do, they feel like they're vulnerable and they can run commercials against them in their states and maybe get the Senate back. And hey, the House has the power to do that, and they made a decision to use impeachment as a campaign tool, and we can all wring our hands. It happened. They had the power. They did it. I think it's wrong to do that, but they did it, and I don't see any reason that I have some sort of obligation to cover this as anything other than what it is. That's what it is. And maybe if you're a Democrat, you're like, you're damn right, and we should have. People do things. Harry Reid got rid of the filibuster for a bunch of judges, and he thought that was great. But he had set a precedent. And then McConnell came in and said, well, we're going to do it for the Supreme Court. And then you ended up with people there are consequences to this, but it's happened. And I believe it should be covered. And that's how we're going to cover it, as a circus/carnival on one hand. And then how is it doing as a political play to win back the Senate and win back the Oval Office? Because why shouldn't I cover it that way? That's exactly why it's being done. And just because you walk into a grand hall and hold proceedings doesn't mean that you belong in that hall or that the rest of us should take you seriously. And again, if people are new, I didn't vote for Hillary or Trump. I voted for the goofy guy who didn't know what Aleppo was. And next time around, I'll probably vote for whoever the goofy guy is that has an L in front of their name.
Lincoln Chafee.
No, if it's Lincoln Chafee, yeah.
Come on board, buddy.
No,
Come
yeah,
on board for the big win. Keep America great, Eric. Keep it great, buddy.
I would not want America to be anything other than great.
Well,
And I have to give it to you that the economy is doing very well, and that's probably the thing that matters to me the most. I'd like to see a little more. I'm one of these people.
you're such a pessimist.
Are you jet lagged from Davos?
You're a pessimist.
I'm not a pessimist. So just that's where I stand. This is why it's being done. It should be judged as, is it effective? Is it going to work? When Harry Reid got rid of the filibuster because he wanted to get people on the courts below Supreme Court, that was effective in the moment. They got people on courts that they otherwise wouldn't have gotten because the Republicans would have filibustered. Then you go a few more years and you ask Democrats, well, did you like setting that precedent? Because it made it very easy to get rid of the filibuster for the Supreme Court as well, and maybe they would have some different ideas. So there will be actual real consequences, good and or bad, for these decisions by Democrats to use impeachment as a campaign tool, and I think it should be covered from that. And I don't even really have, you ask me, I think it's obnoxious to do that. But they did it, and we're covering it, so that's what we're covering. We're not going to get on either side emotionally, because this is not only politics, it's power politics, and it should be, in a rational world, it should be covered as exactly what it is. So that's the way that we're going to cover it. Now, last night, let's go to the one that I only saw 1 minute in real time. We have audio clips. I saw stuff this morning from the stations, but I only saw 1 minute. Now, we got an open mic. We couldn't find this 1 minute that I saw. And we got an open mic that had that minute in there. It's less than a minute, actually. But just seeing this, I thought, oh, man, it's so obvious what's going on here.
It doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take Albert Einstein.
No. Give me the open mic first.
Hey, Von Haessler, I think you might have a copyright infringement deal with Adam Schiff going on.
It doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take Albert Einstein to add 2 + 2. It equals 4. In this case, it equals guilt.
Now, I'm always saying 2 + 2 = 4, and that's why he says a copyright infringement. But that is what I saw. And immediately I thought, just play Schiff's part again.
It doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take Albert Einstein to add 2 + 2. It equals 4. In this case, it equals guilt.
And just by seeing that, I thought, okay, so what you're trying to convince people in the Senate is that they should speculate, that they should assume some things, that Trump's behavior, what he's basically admitting there is we don't have an actual smoking gun. In Watergate, Nixon left because he knew he would be removed if he was impeached. In Watergate, they found tapes and there were conversations about how to cover it up. And that's a smoking gun. And what Schiff is admitting there is we don't have a smoking gun here, but come on, this is so obvious. You ought to. Now, let me ask you this question. Shouldn't, at the very least, we've never removed a president, shouldn't the standard for removing a duly elected president at least be that of what it takes to overturn a call in the NFL? So in the NFL, if we think it was a fumble, right, and you slow it down, and everybody watching that's watched football for a long time can see that, well, what's happening the last time we saw the ball, it's obvious that that ball was fumbled. But if right before you see the ball come out, another player's back gets between the camera and the ball, and you can't see what's going on, the rule is, even though everybody who's ever watched football and every referee knows, given the trajectory of what we saw was happening, it had to be a fumble. If you can't actually see it, you can't overturn. What does that mean? In that rule, in that area, a referee is not allowed to speculate or assume anything. They have to actually see it. Shouldn't that be the standard, at the very least, for removing a president? What he is saying there, play it one more time.
It doesn't take a genius. It doesn't take Albert Einstein to add 2 + 2. It equals 4. In this case, it equals guilt.
What he's saying is, you all know what his motivation was. It's so obvious why he made this request on this phone call. It shouldn't take two. Yeah, I'm asking you to assume a little bit, and I'm asking you to speculate a little bit. But come on. We all know what went on here, which may sound compelling until you realize and step back. You can't build a good argument on a bad premise. The premise here is we all know what the president was thinking. Well, we can all assume or speculate what the president was thinking, but unless you have the ability to read minds, you can't know what another person is thinking. So much like trying to overturn the call, you would be forced to speculate and assume things, even though you think it's rather obvious that must have been the case. My argument is the standard for overturning a call in the NFL ought to be the low bar for the standard for removing a president, a duly elected president of the United States. Look at that. What a genius I am. I walk in on 1 minute of these proceedings and suss the whole thing out. And so you, my friend, don't even have to watch this damn thing. Every day I'll give you 1 minute, tell you what happened, and here's the news. He's not going to be removed from office. You and I only have so many days on this earth. Let's not waste them watching a kabuki theater.
Irreverent.
Entertaining. Gut-busting.
Very funny. And doesn't toe any party line.
I think it's a great show.
The Von Haessler Doctrine on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
All right, so they were up all night. I have more to say. We don't have a lot of time here. I have more to say about what happened yesterday. Justice Roberts, finally, though, there was no presentation yesterday other than voting on certain things up and down. And basically, then McConnell got all the rules that he wanted.
The ayes are 53. The nays are 47. The resolution is agreed to.
And I like that Roberts, the Chief Justice, reminded people to check their attitude because they're in such an august body.
I think it is appropriate at this point for me to admonish both the House managers and the President's Council in equal terms to remember that they are addressing the world's greatest deliberative body. One reason it has earned that title is because its members avoid speaking in a manner and using language that is not conducive to civil discourse.
If that wasn't exciting enough for you, we got another power-packed impeachment show today.
Today on the Impeachment Show,
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
We are all very, very sleepy, but nevertheless, we will persist.
California Representative and Impeachment Manager Adam Schiff.
This is just another stalling tactic by the Republicans to keep me from being able to see myself on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
One of the other impeachment managers, Representative Jerry Nadler. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts.
In the 1905 Swain trial, a senator objected when one of the managers used the word pettifogging.
President Donald Trump. This is a witch hunt. You never know what's going to happen, so tune in. Only on
ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, MSNBC, C-SPAN, C-SPAN 2, C-SPAN 3, CNN, Fox News.
All right, Autumn.
Yes.
Are you wearing your fitness tracker?
Yes, I am.
Now, people don't know. I've challenged Autumn that if she loses 10 pounds in 1 month, I will give her $1,000. Then if she loses 3 pounds per month after that, I will give her a bonus of $300. Then at some point, we'll decide where it just has to maintain. But what she cannot do is lose 10 pounds, gain 5, and then lose another 3. It has to be on top of each other. So I sent her a fitness tracker, and I put mine back on. I'd stopped wearing mine because I knew what 10,000 steps were, and I was like, well, I'll just do that every day. So I put mine back on again. And so let's compare where we are, because I think this is to challenge her. And we won't have to do this on the air. We won't bore you every day on the air. This is the first day, but we're going to get to where she can see my steps and I can see her steps.
Yeah, the work week hustle.
Yeah, we're going to include Jared And we
I
asked,
don't know how to do it. Like, I don't know how to challenge you, or I don't know how to find you on here.
It's very easy.
Jared's going to walk us through it off air. And he offered for Tim to join. Tim said, I don't care. Okay, all right. Well,
I didn't say it with that much derision.
I don't give a damn.
Clive wanted all of us to do it.
Yeah, I would
Clive
love it if you, yeah, we talked to Tim, and he's, as usual, he's being obstinate. So. I don't know what to tell him.
My radio guru / consultant says we can start a whole Atlanta movement, right?
Yeah, we get everybody using that thing.
You gained about 30 over the last 5 years. You're a consultant. You're not
I said.
You still got those tips in your hair, though. You look
Tips
good.
look great.
Hey,
and
you're 70,
just
you don't look a day over 68.
More cushion for them strippers.
So, Autumn, let's compare right now. Because my idea is I'm going to challenge her, and she will take this challenge. So, should I ask you how many steps you have in yet, or would you want to know mine first?
Well, I want to let you know that my steps happen in the second half of the day,
That's
where
fine.
yours happen in the first half of the day.
Now,
So yesterday, I have the total for yesterday's.
Okay, what was your total yesterday?
Yesterday was over 13,000 steps.
Okay, that's very good. Now, that's a beginning, and you got to keep it up. Where are you at right now?
Today, I'm only at I'm at 1,500, so 1,505.
You want to know where I am?
I'm sure you're at like 6,000.
939 on Peachtree. I love this. Rather than the weather and then give the name of the street, I like to give the time and the name of the street. It's 939 on Peachtree.
Oh.
7,551.
Woo!
I think it's a good challenge to you that I get a lot of my steps in early. But I do steps in the afternoon as well, my dear.
I know, but I'm saying I
am
don't...
proud of you. I'm proud of you, but you got to do it every day.
I've been up for 2 hours. You've been up for like 12. I don't know what time you get up.
I could suggest something to you. You could wake up an hour earlier than you usually wake up and
No, I
start
can't.
walking. Yes, you can.
The kids didn't fall asleep until 10 last night.
All right. Well, excuses.
It's not excuses. I walked 13,000 steps yesterday.
Don't you have a study that says in our next thing that says that? Well, we'll just get to the study. But I think that. What did you just say? I just lost why I was bringing that up. What did you just say?
Waking up early.
Yeah, there's a study that says most of us are just getting 5.5 hours of sleep a night now.
Yeah, done by Mattress Firm.
Yeah,
Tried to get to it yesterday, but you didn't.
Hey, don't start a fight with me.
I tried to get it to you yesterday, but you went
if 5.5 is good enough for the rest of America, it should be good enough for you. Let's do this.
It's time for studies, surveys, and polls on the von Haessler Doctrine.
Woo! Yeah. I get all excited. And by the way, we got a lot more on impeachment. People are, you ought to be talking about impeachment for...
Don't worry about it. We're just sitting back here waiting for you to call on us.
If you're just tuning in, I got the greatest impeachment panel. CNN may outnumber us. They may have 15 people on their impeachment panel. We have 2. They happen to be the only 2 presidents in American history who have been impeached. Andrew Johnson, say hello.
Honey, what's going on, everybody?
He's a little drunk. And
I resent that.
Of course, there's Bill Clinton. Who,
He won't even share.
Hey, Bill, can you switch seats with Andrew? I mean, Andrew stinks, man. He has not taken a shower in his
You're
life.
gonna have to like it or lump it, young man.
Oh, come on, Bill, please.
You Trump voter.
Trumper. Call him a Trumper.
He's a Trumper. What did Hillary ever do to you?
Hey, Bill, between you and me.
What?
Who'd you really vote for? Who'd you vote for?
I'm not going to say who I voted for, but his name began with a D and his last name started with a T.
All right. Let's do some studies, surveys, and/or polls.
All right, you kind of
with a promise that we'll get back to the boring impeachment.
You got a tease there in the beginning. A survey from Mattress Firm has found.
Well, look, they do great surveys.
That adults are sleeping a staggering 47 minutes less than they did back in 2018. So about 5.5 hours of sleep a night.
Well, I think a lot of this is because the millennials, because they're up all night thinking about everything that's wrong with the world and their country.
I can't sleep.
Oh my God! How can I sleep in my comfortable bed?
I know my neighbor doesn't recycle.
And
Oh gosh, I know. He threw everything in his garbage can. Didn't even have the blue bin.
I haven't seen one lately, but I know somewhere somebody's sleeping under a bridge, and here I am. And how can I do that? I mean,
my
60 degrees in January. Global warming.
Thankfully,
Oh my God.
Thankfully, I haven't seen the last 3 episodes of This Is Us. I'll just.
I'm gonna rewatch Girls.
You're not going through me.
Have you seen season 2 of You? Oh, it's so dirty.
Oh, he's creepy and he's a stalker, but he's a nice guy.
What is it? What's You? I haven't even heard of that.
You haven't seen You?
No.
It's a popular Netflix series. It's kind of like a Dexter for millennials.
If you haven't seen You, then you don't know me.
Dexter?
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Dexter was about a guy who wanted to be a serial killer, and he rationalized it by just killing other bad people.
He was a serial killer.
Yeah, but he started just killing bad people.
His father was a cop, taught him how to kill bad people.
Right.
To get his urges out.
Yeah,
And then
okay.
he was a blood spatter expert for the police.
Well, I was close enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I
he was a serial killer. He was able
You
to get
guys,
his...
it was about a guy who wanted to be a serial killer, but didn't know how to be a serial killer, and then he died. He was a day from retirement, and then he'd be a serial
Spoiler
killer.
alert.
And You is about a guy who's kind of good looking, looks kind of like John Mayer.
Yeah.
And he's a stalker. And
Yeah, but he's also has serial tendencies. I just finished season 2 last night, so
Yeah.
So the idea is this actually could be interesting premise. People before Me Too, when a lot of the Office Speak Up kind of thing was going on, there would be a joke going around that if I exhibit certain behavior that's seen as repulsive in the office place, but if George Clooney did the same thing, it would be considered flattering.
Oh, he's so nice.
So is this the idea here? He's a good-looking stalker, so he gets away with more?
he does get away with a lot with his looks.
Yeah.
But he also is intelligent with how he handles it, though.
He's
he's
clever.
extremely. Yeah, he is a sociopath. It's a great way to describe it.
Well,
I think your Siri's going off there.
Yeah, what's happening, Eric?
My Siri, I don't have any Siri going off. What do I have
I
going
heard
off?
something.
Well, it's...
She's like, I'm right here.
Siri was on my phone. I was looking on my iPad.
Go ahead.
I don't know. That's bad. Nobody said Siri. Yeah, it didn't even go on then. I said the word. What the hell? Oh, man. Tim Cook, you're doing it all wrong. So that actually sounds like a halway decent show.
It's ridiculous, but it's kind of.
I hate,
what,
Tim
It was
doesn't
a
like
book.
What makes it fun is
I
that
read the
it's so ridiculous.
All right, stop bragging that you read a book. We're
Whatever,
all
I read
impressed
the book.
on it.
Oh, is it a show?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's a show?
Yeah,
'Cause
you
I
read the
the
book.
book.
It is a Lifetime show with nudity and swear words. It's produced by Lifetime Network. So
Oh, so you're saying it's for the ladies?
pretty much.
You're saying
and
it's,
Jared.
That's why. And well, Jared probably watches because of Christina. Which,
That's why I watched
you know, if you want to stay in good graces and
Because
you're
of
young.
Christina?
Yeah, she
No,
called.
well, it's not like my wife and I have been together for 32 years, so that we don't need to impress each other anymore. It's like, we're in this club.
Yeah.
It's like, we're in. What are we gonna do? Leave the club now? It seems ridiculous. But at 30, you still have to, kind of do things for the lady. And the
I
lady does
enjoyed
things
it
for the guy.
from an entertainment standpoint, but at the same point, I realize it's ridiculous. And
Yeah.
I think some people are like, "Oh my gosh, how does he get away with it?" I'm like, "This is."
Well, they're getting into it. That means it's a compelling show.
Right. And I enjoyed it. Season 2 was fun.
I'm enjoying Servant. 10 episodes, all compelling and interesting and wonderful, and I still have no idea what the hell is going on. That's hard to pull off. So what that has to do with Mattress Firm or 5.5 hours of sleep a night, I have
sleeping
no
45
idea.
minutes less.
But that's
staggering.
the beauty of this here show. Next study, survey, and or poll.
I got a poll for you. This is from
Hey, whoa, wait a minute. I'm going to go to HR.
I got the mailbag.
Hey, I got a question. Let me ask a question. Do I have a case with HR that people in this office place keep telling me that I have to buy new pants after losing weight because I don't have a butt anymore?
Oh, you got the saggy
Ladies in this office, more than one. I say, hey, you got to get new pants. You don't have any butt anymore. Now I have a feeling. First of all, I find it flattering. They're saying you lost a lot of weight. But if I said that to a woman, would that not be HRable? And I'm starting that new term, HRable. So what's the double standard here?
Hey, you need a new skirt.
Hey,
Yeah, you're not filling out those skirts.
Yeah.
You used to.
Yeah, hey, it's time to start cinching. I think that would be HRable.
You would call HR, Deborah from HR would be like, yeah, but they're right. I mean, you need new pants, so.
Oh, it's okay to tell me as a guy.
Well,
to remark on my body space.
Yes, because honestly, how much weight have you lost?
30 pounds.
All right, then you need new pants.
But I'm standing in the middle of the newsroom going, look, people, I never had a butt.
Hey, sweetheart, this is Deborah from HR, sweetheart, honey.
Yes, hon.
You're cute when you're mad.
Oh,
you are so cute when you're mad.
Is there an HR that I can report HR to?
Hey,
Aw.
Miranda.
Puffin
Hey, Miranda. Hey, I noticed you lost a little weight, but you were pretty good up top. You might want to.
Yeah, you might put a couple pounds
maybe
back
have
on.
another hamburger.
Eric, don't you realize the reason why WSB hired you wasn't to do an entertaining 3-hour show? It was
good, because I have not pulled that one off yet.
It was because you're eye candy around the office.
Yeah, I
That's
know.
what it is. And
People
the
like it.
second you started losing,
I know.
it
was
you started losing it.
Buttocks. Now, although I have to, I was asked yesterday. Chris Chandler said, well, you lost so much weight. How much more are you gonna? And I said, well, I don't know. I'm thinking about losing maybe 5 or 10 more pounds. And he mentioned something that is really something to worry about, and I have to keep an eye on. He said, you don't want to become one of those guys whose head looks disproportionately large to their body, like what happened to Al Roker. Like, he's lost a bunch of weight, but he looks like a freak because his head looks like a Mr. Potato Head thing stuck right on top of a skinny body.
I think that there's like a resting weight that people should get to. When people go past their like natural resting weight, then they look weird.
I think I might be at my natural resting weight, and
I
right
think so,
now
too,
I just
'cause
have
you're
to
tall.
I have to firm things up. You're always bringing
Are
up
you
how
doing
tall
some
I am.
sit-ups?
I'm not doing sit-ups because I don't like doing sit-ups.
I don't want anybody to think I'm trying to do something weird.
Yes, somebody might walk in and come to the wrong conclusion.
That's his resting weight face.
Yes, that's my resting bee body. Busybody, of course.
Tim is locked and loaded up.
No, there's leaving some things in the quiver.
As the leader of the Doctrinaires, I have to take this mood that Tim's in today and just extract the best out of it.
What mood?
It's like, oh, come on, it's nothing wrong. I was in a mood yesterday.
Snarky
Don't pretend
mood.
you're not human. No, he's in a very I don't care about that mood, but that can be very good for comedy. I just have to shape it. That's what I'm good at. That's where I step in. Otherwise, I call HR. That's right, Tim Andrews.
What?
Stupid people get points from me if they acknowledge their stupidity. So that's why I liked that person. Oh, sorry, bringing an off mic conversation on mic. That's highly unprofessional. Jared Yamamoto, I believe we're deep in the thicket of studies, surveys, and polls.
I tried to give you a poll, but you didn't want it earlier. So
Well, look, I went through an experimental phase. Hey, that's an old stupid joke. Hey!
I love it. That's right.
What are we in the mailbag?
I am a recovering shock jock.
Now, this poll is from Curbed Atlanta, and they posed the question.
You didn't say curved Atlanta.
Curbed.
Oh, thank you. Go ahead.
And they posed the question whether transportation should be free or not in Atlanta.
Oh,
and
for
the
heaven.
results are staggering.
Yeah, but how many people want something free? 90%?
Actually, only 28% say yes.
You know why? Because they're smart. This is going on in what happens is there's places like Boston and New York where public transportation, it's just an obvious thing. You're on a grid. It just works. The T in Boston works. The subway system and everything, it's perfect for those kind of. And then other cities, which were kind of built on the car, then make a decision. We got to go off of this, and they try to get things going. People are used to driving in Atlanta. They're used to traffic jams. They're used to a lot of things. Now, public transportation might be a good idea, but it's hard to get people to move over from one to change habits. And even though the social experts will tell you, oh, it'll be so much better living, less pollution, you'll be able to get around, all of that kind of stuff. But the problem with a lot of it is, how do we get people to start riding this stuff? So now in many cities, they've decided to make it free. Now, let me ask you something. Do you want to get on public transportation with a whole bunch of people who didn't even have to pay $1 to be on that bus or on that MARTA train? Well, how many homeless people will have a home? It'll be a mobile home, but you'll be stuck in the home with them. Hour 2 of the Von Haessler Doctrine begins right now. Let me get a few things out of the way before we go to more headlines. One downside of me telling Autumn that I would give her $1,000 if she loses 10 pounds in a month. Like 3 people, everybody wants me to pay them to lose weight now. I've got and people are like walking up and they're making hints to me, like, boy, my metabolism sure is slowing down. I wish I had the willpower to do something about it, Eric. Once word gets out, you're paying one person to lose weight. Suddenly I'm supposed to pay the whole world to lose weight? Come on, people.
Listen, I've done my time. We've been friends for 19 years.
That's right. God, has it been that long?
I think so. 2002.
You're getting really old. Not
Yeah,
me.
that means
you're
you. You haven't aged a day?
And you're pushing 40. Wow. I'm a respectable gentleman of 55.
You're right. I'm just like, my time is up. There's no use for me anymore in the world.
I think evolution's just going to walk right past you now. It's like, I don't need you anymore.
You've had the kids.
You've had the kids. You're done. Don't need you anymore. Next thing you know, your uterus will fall out.
I need
Start
the mesh.
growing a mustache.
Come on, we need the commercials for mesh. Less ED, more mesh.
Less ED, more mesh.
Yeah, we need like older female representation.
That's
in these
right.
ads.
Yeah, I want to make that. And for
My husband can't get it going, but then I've got my whole thing falling out of my body.
I think that we need to have a 1-to-1 ratio for every erectile dysfunction ad. We need some fairness and have some.
Ladies, have trouble when you're coughing or sneezing or laughing?
Get a
Hi,
mesh.
I'm Autumn Fisher.
Nobody wants
I
that.
also have that problem, but I got some mesh and they just put it in there. Got it all taken care of.
I accidentally pee too. All right. So and the other thing, what was the other thing? Oh, I see that Harvey Weinstein, his trial is getting very little coverage, I guess because of the impeachment and stuff. But Harvey Weinstein trial has actually gotten going. And apparently they're going to, the argument is going to be that he never had non-consensual sex with any of these women. Now, I'm just saying, I've never taken a day of law school, but if I was the defense attorney or I was the prosecutor, I would just say, I would point to Harvey Weinstein. I would say, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who in the world would have consensual sex with that? I rest my case. I will leave it to the members of the jury now.
All right, guilty, adjourned.
Who of sound mind and body would have consensual sex with that? All right, let's do this.
More headlines for Wednesday, January 22nd.
The truth just feels right.
That's right. Yeah.
It just makes sense.
Well, they're going to use, I think it might be kind of powerful, some of these women who are accusing him of rape after the supposed event were emailing him and saying nice things. One of them wanted him to meet her parents. That's not the usual. But you know what? I mean, there's a lot that goes on psychologically, so I'm not going to get involved in that. And besides, that guy, at the very least, he didn't treat women very well. He's certainly guilty of not treating women very well.
I gave him a lot of Oscars.
Yes, you did. You worked very hard to get Gwyneth Paltrow that Oscar.
That's right. So did she.
Either did or didn't deserve. Look at her. She's over at Goop now.
Yeah.
You pushed her right out of the industry.
You know what? I have...
Yes, but watch
that
yourself.
Candle,
Harvey
I'm
Weinstein.
pretty used to that candle.
The Vavava
Yeah,
candle?
that one, yeah.
The hoo-ha.
The hoo-ha candle.
Yeah.
Only available
Hoo-ha.
at goop.com. Yes, it's endorsed by Al Pacino.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
All right, CDC officials announced that Atlanta would be one of 5 airports that will be adding health screening for the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's coming out of China.
Yeah, that's coming out of
This is it's not flu. It's some sort of new virus, and they're worried about a pandemic. And by the way, if you only block 5, viruses are clever. They're going to go to the 6th. But I'm just saying, 5 main entries.
Don't give them that idea, Eric.
I know. I hate to inspire viruses. I've done it before.
That way the viruses win.
So nothing even really happened physically. I just inspired a virus that showed up on somebody else.
Hey, how you
That's the
doing?
kind of a very, very charismatic human being.
Is that Vinny virus?
You mind if I rest here in your nasal passage for a couple of days?
Listen, Vinny, I'm real busy.
Oh, look, I'm replicating. Mutating.
So it's a big thing going on in China, and I don't want to overdo this. We weren't even going to cover it, I was thinking, until something happens. Because we've been warned of pandemics, so many. Remember the bird flu and the
SARS.
H9,
Ebola.
SARS, 5, Ebola. But people don't understand about Ebola is so effective, it almost kills itself. Ebola is so deadly.
It kills people before it can really
it'll start
spread.
in a village, right? And it just kills everybody in the village before anybody can leave quite often. So Ebola is its own worst enemy with how effective it is. Certainly scary as hell if it got near you. But we haven't had one of these pandemics. We've been warned by WHO, not Roger Daltrey, not Jodie Whittaker, the World Health Organization
Oh.
for years about the next pandemic. And certainly over time there will be a pandemic. But I don't want to, this is probably not it, but you have to be better safe than sorry, right? So they're probably doing the right thing to make sure.
Well, Atlanta's the busiest airport in the world.
What I don't understand, you always read about this stuff, well, we're really worried because now it's transferred human to human. When it gets transferred animal to human, is it every bit as disgusting as what I imagine goes on? Like, don't you have to have relations with the animal? How does this happen?
No, they could breathe on you if it.
No. So if it goes from animal to human,
yeah,
it's all from just because you're on a farm and you're close to
it can be through the air.
pigs. This started with pigs.
Couldn't it be from like a bug? If like a bug bites the animal and then the bug bites you, then you could get some.
I don't know that this. They're saying that. I don't know this one. They're saying now it's human to human.
Is it so? It must be an aerosol. So if you sneeze, someone breathes it in.
So I'm wrong. I always thought, how does the thing get from the pig to the human to begin with? And I always
Their
thought
saliva could get on something, and then maybe you have a cut.
Or you could walk barefoot in your yard, and they have gone to the bathroom
way
there.
out there in the rural areas of
Listen,
China.
I'm not saying that you're totally wrong.
Let's call
but
it.
I don't think
Let's
it's
call
the
it
only way.
Let's call it the West Virginia of China, whatever that would be.
Okay.
Let's call it the Mississippi of China, whatever that would be.
English Nick's farm.
No. That's in a good Western economy over there.
Well, I got it from English Nick's farm, if you know what I mean.
Well, I even set it up. I can't do the farmer. I can't do
I don't know. I just
There's an
wonder.
exercise for you to do,
I don't
Tim.
know. Maybe that's a good thing for open mics for people. Remember, this is a family show. But maybe somebody knows. I either want to be disabused of this notion that these things start because there are relations between animals and humans, or I want somebody to say, well, no, there's actually a factual. I want to know whether that's true or not. Because it's weird. Like, my cat gets sick. It doesn't get me sick.
Yeah, there's some things
what
that
makes
could be...
the cat sick doesn't
Well, a
make me
dog
sick.
can have parvo, and you're not going to get it.
Right.
It's not a interspecies.
So I guess what I'm
transmittable
asking is, does this start out as an STD and then become airborne between human beings?
I don't think so.
An RTD,
But
relations.
A rural transmitted disease.
It'd be easier to get a bacterial infection from something like that than it would be to get a virus.
Yeah, but can that then mutate into something else?
Well, but
Is my
bacteria
question.
doesn't.
You guys, I have my medical degree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know.
Okay.
If the bug bites the animal and then it gets on you, or just like Tim said, you're walking barefoot,
Yeah.
maybe some animal has peed there, or maybe died recently and dragged itself somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? You get it.
You have quite an active imagination when it comes to this stuff.
Or maybe
really
a
studied
pig
this.
with some sort of disease knocks
Yeah.
on your door and is like, "Hey, can I come in?" And you're like, "I guess so." And you sit it down, and then you
late
give it
at
some
night.
milk, and
you
then
guys have things could happen.
yeah, I mean, it
You
wants to
lock
watch
eyes.
some Netflix.
Hey, Autumn, you wouldn't happen to have a runny nose, headache, cough, sore throat, fever? I mean, you don't happen to have any of those symptoms.
I think
do
what
you?
you're talking about. I think what you're talking about. That syndrome known as Netflick and swell.
Hey, because of a
Thank
pig.
you, ladies and gentlemen. Drive carefully.
By
Yes.
the way, I found out how you can transfer it from an animal to a human.
Yes.
And it is
sweet, sweet love.
If some sort of matter,
yes,
from the animal,
yes,
comes in contact with another creature's mouth.
But that could happen by accident.
Because you don't
that could
wash
be
your
anything.
hands.
You could be mucking out
Exactly.
the stall or something.
Yeah.
Yes, it could
Or-
be on your hands. You rub your eye.
So it doesn't help if you're having relations with the farm animals.
Probably not.
Okay, but
Correct.
not
Doesn't hurt.
exclusively.
Not at first.
All right, get me out of this. Have I opened up the thing?
Yeah, you
whatever.
opened it up.
I was supposed to be talking about impeachment, not swine flu.
I've got you here. 8 senators
It's
snuck.
kind of the same thing. It's a big pig pen. Yes.
8 senators snuck Apple Watches into the impeachment hearings last night, despite an electronics ban.
Oh wow, this is how could we?
What you got to watch? It's made out of an apple.
Now hold on, we have our impeachment panel.
I'm sorry, Mister. You don't look like a Yamamoto to me.
Well, what do I look like, President Johnson?
I don't know, like a McKinley.
We have our very wonderful panel, impeachment panel. The only 2 impeached presidents in the United States. Andrew Johnson.
Give me another swig of this here.
And Bill Clinton. who could probably enlighten us on how diseases get passed around.
Well, one thing you got to do is you always got to wear protection because you don't know where them interns has been. And why waste a good cigar?
So, now, the senators, actually, this is really difficult for senators. They, under, what does it say, penalty of prison, they have to be quiet. They're not allowed to communicate at all with the outside world. They're supposed to really be a jury, which means they can't talk to each other and they can't have smartphones. You're not supposed to have smartphones on the floor of the Senate ever, but I guess they've been very lax about that over the years. Why do I still have the impeachment panel music going as I speak? Andrew Johnson, do you have anything left to say?
Is a smartphone one that's learned how to cipher?
And an Apple phone is not a phone made out of an apple.
Can you eat it?
You barely know what phones are. Was a phone even
Yes,
a
I
concept?
know what a phone is. I think.
Yeah.
I know what a telegraph is.
I know you know what a telegraph is. I don't know if you know what a phone is. I think the phone may have come a few years after your time. But I'm not quite sure. Wasn't the phone like 1881?
Well, I didn't die in 1865, so I might have lived long enough to talk on the telephone.
Okay.
I'll look into it.
All right, so before we get... There's another thing that made it obvious to me that this is a big show and that impeachment is just being used as a tool to win the next campaign. Maybe the Oval Office, more likely the Senate. And that's a tease. So you'll come back and I'll let you know what that was. Jared Yamamoto, who amongst this audience dare correct Eric von Haessler?
One of our super secret 2 + 2 = 4 chat members wrote in there and said, according to the internet, Andrew Johnson died 1 year before the invention of the telephone.
Well, I got confused. I tell you, it was that.
Yeah, why'd you get confused?
Well, I don't know. I don't even know what year it is now.
It's 2020.
Wow! Have we been up to the moon yet?
We've been 50 years ago.
What's it taste like?
Munster.
I knew it. But listen, I got confused about when I died and when the telephone and all that. But listen, we did have an Apple. We had an Apple Watch.
You had an Apple Watch?
Sure we did. Every spring, we'd call all the neighbors. Well, we'd go knock on the door. Go to that because we didn't have the phone as we've established. But we'd go there and bring all the neighbors over and we'd watch the Apple. Right.
Thank you, President Johnson.
We just sit there and watch Apple Rock. We wouldn't knock it over, poke a hole in it or nothing. We just let it ride.
So you have a bunch of neighbors.
Sometimes it took weeks. Neighbors want to get up and leave, but I'd make my wife go in and fix them up something to eat.
It's called Apple Watch.
Apple Watch. Come on over to Apple Watch.
And you watched an Apple Rock.
Man, we did.
Yeah, you didn't have the. You didn't have
No, we didn't have TV or
no entertainment back then.
We had TV and comic books.
You have the fancy stuff that we have now.
Daguerreotype.
We have photographs now. We've moved on from the.
We didn't have phonographs.
No, photographs. I said now. We moved on from the Derek.
Oh, the thing where you sit still for 2 hours while the guy look at you, and then the thing goes and you get them.
It's in the phone now.
Yeah, the what? I'm fine with my Apple Watch.
Andrew Johnson. It's just such a thrill to be able to have the first impeached president on our impeachment panel. But I told people that I would play something very quickly that lets you know that this is all for this. This should be covered as a novel political way, campaign way to try to win back the Oval Office or the Senate. Using impeachment as a campaign tool. And if you go to number 3, this was about right before midnight.
There is a reason, though, why we are still here at...
Schiff.
Is that 5 till midnight? There's a reason why we're here to 5 to midnight. And that's because they don't want the American people to see what's going on here. They're hoping people are asleep. And you know, a lot of people are asleep right now. All over the country because it's midnight.
See, he's giving the game away. In reality, the American people is not the jury here. They shouldn't be trying to convince the American people. That should come out of the House. The House is supposed to respond to the impulse from the people. Oh my goodness, we need to impeach this president. When you get to the trial, you're just supposed to be persuading 100 senators. But what they're really doing is they're trying to get the American people on their side to put pressure on these senators and to maybe win back the Oval Office. If not that, win back the Senate. He gave it all away there. Why does he care what somebody... And by the way, he's from California. He should know. It was 9 p.m. in California. You know, it's interesting on the AJC Metro section. Within one paragraph, I learned two things that I did not know. One is that Crystal, the hamburger franchise...
Fresh shot, small square.
Yeah. They're bankrupt. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And it says here, Dunwoody-based Crystal. I didn't know they were based in Dunwoody. I learned two things in one paragraph. How come that's not a bigger story? See, the thing is, people don't take bankruptcy seriously. Like, it's a little thing they're doing to get out of paying a few people so they can... Like, bankruptcy, I would think, it's got such a... Like, the word is so strong. Mm-hmm. They say, I'm bankrupt. Oh, wow, I guess we'll never see that business ever again. These businesses go bankrupt, and then 10 years later, they're there. So it's some kind
It
of...
happens. People go bankrupt, but they come out of it. It's fun.
Sometimes win the presidency.
That's right.
They need to market the right things. Their little chicken biscuit, not chicken biscuit, the chicken sandwich that they have.
I need another fast food outlet with the chicken? Oh, it's around, but people are murdering each other for this chicken sandwich. It's so good.
And the milkshake is a sleeper. Their milkshakes are very good there.
They're a sleeper. Hey, don't sleep on that Crystal milkshake. Let's do this.
What the? Seriously, what the? WTF? With Autumn Fisher.
Autumn Fisher, are you ready for your moment in the spotlight?
I'm so ready.
That's right. We brought
I'm
in...
a girl on the show.
we of course have a girl on the show so that she can tell the guys when they've gone a little too far.
That's such a good thing.
Yeah. So,
does she have just one name, no last name?
Autumn. We just call her Autumn.
Yeah.
Our fans call her. Some fans call her Amber. And
Autumn, the WTF girl.
Yeah, that's what she's known as. That's a little too long, don't you think?
Well, it's her turn on the main stage.
Well, she giggled. Yeah, it's her turn. Hey, gentlemen, show her how you feel. Okay.
Woo! Quit your grinning, drop your linen.
On the main stage, the very, very highly respected for her intellect.
Yes.
Autumn Fisher. Yes.
Autumn Fisher here reporting from the WTF Live desk. It's 10:40 a.m. That's 40 minutes past the hour, 20 minutes to the top of the hour.
On
WTF coming at you. Here we go on Peachtree. A cannibal killer is engaged to be married after
All
falling
right, if you
in
keep this
love.
voice up, I'm going to turn you off. I want
A
Autumn.
cannibal killer is engaged to be married after falling in love with another murderer on a dating website for prisoners.
Well, that's, I remember, I saw this story yesterday. Well, first of all, if you're a cannibal killer and you're going to go on a dating website, I think that's the one to be on. Like, Cannibal Killers, dates.com.
Also, it shouldn't be Cannibal Killer, right? It should be a killer cannibal, because a cannibal killer could be like someone who kills cannibals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like a who's in the Dracula story? Van Helsing would be a cannibal killer.
Yeah.
Like a monster killer.
Sure.
So, you're right. This is a killer who cannibalizes his victims, is now getting married to another killer that he met on a killer's dating website. Now, here's the thing. I remember this story. This guy's name is Luca Magnotta. I believe he was a gay porn star. And this is back in 2012. I think they didn't get him until 2014. But he, not only did he kill this person, he videotaped himself. I don't know if he ever published it or not, but he videoed himself with a knife and fork eating. And he also sent parts of the body, like he sent the dude's hands to a school somewhere. So
and
this
then also
guy,
to some Canadian politicians.
Yeah, this guy is absolutely nuts. So yeah, he met him on Canadian Inmates Connect online.
That's a good site.
So,
he was looking for someone who was single, white, 28 to 38. He also wanted him to be financially stable
and in good shape.
In a jail.
I like long walks near graveyards, freshly dug graves are the best.
Let's face it, after you're known for taking a knife and a fork and devouring your last lover, you're only going to meet another lover who is already in jail for murder. So I guess, they are in the same jail, apparently. They're going to be married they're going to have a ceremony. I mean, why? What are the taxpayers of Canada? I don't care if it's 17 cents. What are the taxpayers
these Canadians
of
are too
Canada?
nice.
It's outrageous.
Like, they want to get married.
This is that.
This might reform him,
Goofy guy that's in that Netflix documentary series, Don't F with Cats, which just broke down. This guy is completely nuts. He started with cats, and then he went to people.
Oh, well, the animal torturing.
Yeah.
If you catch like a 14-year-old torturing a pet, I mean, I'm a libertarian, but if I could, I would say just put him in jail.
Or keep an eye on him.
You just put him in jail. It's gonna
flag that kid.
It's gonna be on people very soon. They're just testing the boundaries now. Well, look, you know what? We can all laugh at Cannibal Love, but people are often turned around and reformed by true love.
Sure.
So I wish the happy couple the best of none. They're both murderers, so they won't be out of jail.
Right, but the guy who he's going to marry
didn't kill the person
when
he
it comes
killed.
to murderers, there's got to be like a tier system because I mean,
crimes of passion, that would be the lowest.
Right, the Luca guy. I mean, he's insane.
He's
right,
totally psychotic.
Yes, but then the guy he's marrying was he's in jail for armed robbery, and now he's a murderer because he stabbed another inmate to death in the shower. Which, he had beef with that guy.
Yeah.
He had to establish dominance.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some excuses there.
I don't know what turns this guy. I am so shallow in some ways. I feel like if you are lucky enough to be really good looking, there's no need for it to be a psychopath. You're going to get everything you want in life. This guy is a good-looking dude. I mean, why the need to be a psychopath? But I guess you don't choose that. It chooses you.
No, you do not. That is a horrifying gift given to you by some horrible mistreatment by your parents.
I said I was shallow.
Maybe he had issues on Bumble and when Coffee Meets Bagel. I mean, those are apps where
Coffee Meets Bagel.
That's
what's
a dating app.
Yeah.
That's a dating app?
Yeah.
What is that for people, hipsters who like to go to cafes?
Yeah.
No, it's Coffee Meets Bagel.
Who's the bagel? Am I the bagel?
I've never used the dating app before. I guess it could be either or.
You need a stiff cup of coffee?
I would never use a dating app.
Not even Silver Singles?
Not even Silver Singles.
What about Farmers Only?
Well, that one, yeah.
No, I would not.
That's how you get the diseases.
I've thought about it. If somehow, yeah, that's right. That's how you get the things that go from animals to people.
Mm-hmm.
If my wife tomorrow, if I came home today, you know what? I want to end this. I want to go on my own way. I don't think that I would go on dating apps. I really don't. Matter of fact, I think I'd just shut the whole thing down. I've done enough of that. I'll just concentrate on me.
You could go to whatsyourprice.com. That's a good dating site for an older gentleman such as yourself with money.
Like a sugar daddy kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah,
What's your price?
What I would do? I would just I'd get an apartment in the city that I'd set somebody up in, and I help her pay her bills.
Sure.
And my needs are very, a couple times a month. Fine. That's my new setup.
No big deal.
That's my new setup. I will pay for you to live in the city, and you only got to deal with my old man smell like twice a month. It's fine.
Okay.
So you would be a Coffee Meets Bagel user. I'm actually reading about it now.
Coffee Meets Bagel.
It says it hopes to offer users better quality matches by sending curated matches of bagels each day at noon. They suggest icebreakers like holding hands or going on long walks.
Are they saying a bagel? It is. It's just another way.
Icebreakers like holding hands?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
no, an icebreaker is
people
like,
don't hold hands
hey, have you ever
anymore.
broken a leg or something?
People aren't holding hands. People aren't holding hands anymore. Yeah,
Really?
that is not an icebreaker. If you walk up to an icebreaker, is supposed to start a conversation. If you walk into a room and go, "Hey, anybody here break anybody's leg?" I don't think that starts a good conversation.
No, you're in an intimate setting. You're like, so have you ever, tell me something about your life. Do you have brothers and sisters?
No,
Have you ever broken a
an
bone?
icebreaker is a little joke that gets everybody laughing, and then the ice is broken and people feel comfortable.
You ever eat another guy?
That's that Luca.
This isn't Coffee Meets Ankle.
You ever make a meal?
Yeah, out of your neighbor.
Lover?
Hey, do you like Jeffrey Dahmer?
There's an icebreaker.
My hero is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, man, that
Ed
guy should have
Gein.
known. When he saw a poster of Jeffrey Dahmer on the wall, he should have gotten the message.
What's your favorite tribute to Ed Gein?
I mean, I don't want to blame the victim here. But surely there were warning signs. That's all I'm saying. All right, what's the next WTF story, Autumn Fisher?
The Miami National Weather Service has issued an unofficial warning for falling iguanas on Tuesday night because of the unusual cold snap in Florida.
Oh, there's a frozen iguanas.
There is a huge.
So, yeah.
Wait, go ahead, lady.
Now go ahead.
Well,
Misty.
iguanas are cold-blooded, and so they slow down when the temperatures reach below 50 degrees. And then when they're in their 30s and 40s, they get so stiff that they fall out of their tree.
And they look dead, but they're not dead.
They're playing
that's the weather
possum.
warning.
They're playing possum.
They're playing possum. These iguanas are cold-blooded, much like Jerry Nadler. That's why I call them Nadler lizards. Nadler lizards are falling from the trees. I have to leave Davos because this is a big problem, okay? It's Florida. You know, it's a tropical state, whatever.
Yeah.
It's got frozen iguanas.
Yeah, you live in Florida.
What in the hell is Greta Thunberg talking about?
You got frozen iguanas in Florida.
There's your global warming, lady.
It's Why
Why don't you go to school? Go to school, young lady.
I can't go to school.
Why?
I must tell all the grown-ups around me to stop ruining
Yeah, we
the
heard
world.
you the first time.
Didn't he, what did he say? Before we go, I'm not going to go into WTF, but at Davos yesterday, he had a message for, he didn't say Greta Thunberg's name, but do you have that real fast?
This is not a time for pessimism. This is a time for optimism. Fear and doubt is not a good thought process because this is a time for tremendous hope and joy and optimism and action. But to embrace the possibilities of tomorrow, we must reject the perennial prophets of doom and their predictions of the apocalypse. These alarmists always demand the same thing, absolute power to dominate, transform, and control every aspect of our life.
You know, my libertarian self, that almost gets my vote right there. I mean, that right there, he nailed it. It's about power. I talk about that every day. It's a good show today, but it's a better show off air, I'd say. A lot of laughs. All right, Autumn, do you have yet another WTF story for us?
I do. Astronauts going to the moon or Mars may be growing their homes rather than building them out of fungi or the mycela that is formed when the fungi are growing.
Or you could just speak English and say mushrooms. They're going to grow homes out of mushrooms because that allows me to remember it's not the first time homes have been grown out of mushrooms.
Sing a happy song.
Now we're on the moon.
All day long.
I mean, you could have all kinds of fun out there with mushrooms.
Oh, yeah, you could.
Wow, man, the planet's red. Is it really? I don't know.
I don't know. It sort of seems like it'd be like a Mars igloo. Kind of, right?
Mars igloo?
Yeah, it's kind of
Would it
make
be
a home
Migloo?
out of snow.
A Migloo.
Yeah, it's a Margloo.
Yeah, Margloo.
You guys want to go look at that face?
Shroom.
Let's walk over and look at that big face.
Oh, yeah, over on Mars.
Yeah.
That big face on Mars.
I can't find it, bro.
Oh, wait.
I'm
see
stuck
it.
inside the nose, man.
Hope it don't sneeze.
Man, I can't believe we're on Mars, man. That is wild.
Oh, I can see the Earth.
How did we get here, man?
I don't know.
That's interesting. Schumer now has a press conference every day before the trial. I wonder why. I wonder why. I thought he was just a juror, right?
No.
And then I heard Mike Bloomberg. He's doing ads on our station. Just Mike Bloomberg's ads is funny because even the TV ads and the radio ads, they're all energy. You know, Mike gets things done. I happen to think, objectively speaking, he's pretty smart in. Everybody else is trashing Trump. He doesn't have to do it so much. That work's being done by everybody else. So he can jump in and go, hey, I did this, I did that. I'll be a doer. There's all kinds of energy. And then at the end, it's like all the energy dies when he shows up. Uh-oh. I thought I had that up. Sorry.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
And I was thinking, I didn't know. Tim knows cartoons better than mine, but is it called Droopy Dog?
He's droopy.
You know, I think the dealer is crooked.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
But the rest of the ad is like, America needs to keep... Mike will keep America moving.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
I will protect everybody from Russia, and I'll get rid of Trump.
I think it's all going to work. Let's do this.
Even more headlines for Wednesday, January 22nd.
Even more.
You do not have to go after the Doctrine voice lady. We can have 2 female voices on this show.
Even more headlines.
You know,
January 22nd.
this is what happens. You see, we're always told that it's the patriarchal system. But I tell you, these ladies tear each other apart.
Yep.
They just go after each other. There's only 2
I'm
ladies.
a woman too, and I'm on the show. Except
No solidarity. Nothing. You just tear each other apart. Yes.
Well, when we had the tryouts to do the headline sounder that we do, I mean, Clive, really put it to Autumn on that one. Just let her know that that Kara did a really good job with that.
He really did put it to me.
Did you audit? Whoa, wow. Is that HRable? Is that HRable?
Oh, no, we have a non-disclosure.
Okay. So
Can't talk about it.
The NDA.
Yeah, not in California where you can break them.
I noticed she bought a Mercedes. Like, where did she get that?
I don't know. Who bought that? It's a nice car. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
Every time I look at it, I'm reminded of how he put it to me.
It's a stick shift.
It reminds me of. We were talking earlier off air about what was that kid's name that had the MAGA hat with the guy, the Indian
Nick
with the
Sandman.
drum? Yeah. Well, he's now making a bunch of money, which I think it's fine. I think he was treated horribly. He was Richard Jewelled, if you will, by the media, and maybe Clint Eastwood will make a movie about him that will make money.
30
we'll
years
see.
from now.
The future. But I think the first case has been settled. He got like $230 million. So even if 100 of that goes to the lawyers, and there's more to be settled, you have to. I think that an injustice was done to that kid. He was an innocent kid. He didn't do anything wrong, and he was pilloried. But you got to wonder if how old is he? Probably 18 or 19 years old. He's in high school, right?
Yeah.
So 18 at best. You got to wonder if now, or at least by the time he's 30, he's got to think, wow, I'm glad that happened. I've got hundreds of millions of dollars. I tell you something, he better be grounded. I know he was there because he's with he went to a Catholic school. Yeah. They were there, so there's some kind of grounding there.
It was in front of the Lincoln Memorial.
He went there this year too.
Let me tell you something. If I had $100 million when I was 18 years old, and I'm assuming it's knowledge that at 21 you'll have hundreds of millions of dollars, you wouldn't be able to keep me in check at all. It's like, what's that, Mom and Dad? I need to do my homework. Oh, that's something I really need to do. Okay, all right. But you know what I don't need to do is take care of you in your old age. That's not something that I need to do. But yeah. I'll get cracking on this homework. It's like that little kid Ryan Opens Toys. Is that the name of his thing?
Yeah.
Ryan Opens Toys. This kid's like 12 years old. He's worth multi-millions. This kid makes $25 million a year
without his endorsements through Target and all the stores.
And he's 12.
Yeah.
And that's another one. What's that, Mom? Dad? You're saying I can't stay up late and watch? Okay, good. But I guess you, okay. Well, I'll just put you in a home, and we'll just, just it's one of those government-run homes. We'll put you in when you're older. And, What do you say? I can't have a second bowl if who has the power in that family? If I was 18 and I knew I was coming into hundreds of millions of dollars, I could tell you something. I would not have lived past the age of 32, and I'm stretching it out.
Do you think that it's going to be like in some sort of trust where he doesn't get it until he graduates from college or something like that?
Yeah, maybe. But that's 21. That's 21. You're still an idiot.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be able to get it into that part in your brain. What is the
frontal lobe?
Your frontal lobe.
Like, what's that? You're 26 years old. That's completely there.
Yeah.
And that is consequences. When you're young, you'll do foolish and crazy things. Because you can't imagine being dead. You can't imagine things happening. You don't know the consequences. It's also, by the way, why that's this may seem weird, but that's why 22-year-olds make the best soldiers as well.
Oh, yeah.
You see, because you can just go into a situation and you're not so much about When you're 22, you're alive. You're always going to be alive as far as you're concerned. You get to your late 20s, you have your first panic attack.
What is this?
I don't even. You ever have a panic attack, Jared?
There was one.
I'm just really good looking.
He's good looking now.
There was one time where I was getting checked for a hernia, and let's just say the nurse was putting on the latex glove.
Oh no, that's just getting nervous. A panic attack comes out of nowhere, and you think you're.
You think you're having a heart attack.
You think you're going to die. You're thinking you just out of nowhere. You just start thinking, I better go to the emergency room.
No.
And at emergency rooms, this is the thing. They're so used to it, right? Mm-hmm. And this is the thing. If you're having a panic attack and you walk into an emergency room and basically they look at you and go, okay, fill this out.
Yeah, have a seat.
Go sit over there. Just give it back to them and walk home or get back in your car. Because if you work the desk at an emergency room, you know what dying people look like.
Yeah.
It's like, what their skin color does. You know what dying. And so that's just the best check. You go into the emergency room, you're all panicked. I think I'm dying. Okay, fill this out.
It made me. I went to an emergency room once, and they took me back immediately, and I was like,
whoa.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. It just turned out it was a slow night.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. It was for real.
Were you dying?
It was real. No, it was when I was having that miscarriage.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wow,
it was after the miscarriage. I thought that it was finished.
Oh, right. Can you not say the M word so much?
Oh, it's fine. People have them all the time. It's very sad, but now I'm past it.
I know. But people don't want to have their breakfast with it.
Relax. I'm not describing anything. I'm saying a word. Are you so afraid of words,
But anyway, it makes the point. They could tell physically that something real was going on with you.
Yeah, I basically crawled into the hospital.
Well, but the thing is, I would have done that 2 weeks ago when I think I passed a kidney stone. I don't know. But I had embarrassed myself a couple times in life, not any time recently, by going to the emergency room thinking that something was up. And then you end up with like a $2,000 bill for nothing. So now I will die in my home. No, wait, it's not. Hold on. No, I know. Yeah, but the heart started back up. I don't want to be embarrassed. So now I
might have had a heart attack, but I'm still here.
It was minor. It was minor. Yeah. There's no need to go to the emergency room.
No.
So that's how you know it's a panic attack. So you never had one.
Like that.
I think it's because you're good looking. This is how there's 2 weeks between the championship games and the Super Bowl, and that means the shows that I watch where they analyze football. Well, there's no games going on, and you have 2 weeks. Usually it takes about to the middle of the second week before the analysis starts to get absolutely ridiculous, but it's already happened with this one. Yesterday I was watching a panel of a sports analyst, and they were talking about Jimmy G. That's Jimmy Garoppolo, the quarterback of the 49ers, who looks like a movie star. He's got those swarthy Mediterranean good looks. And they were talking about being nervous because of the Super Bowl. They were talking about Kyle Shanahan. He's been there, lost that famous 28-3 thing when he was the offensive coordinator of the Falcons. Yep. Andy Reid has been in something like 7 championship games. Up until now, he'd only won 1. Now he's won 2. He's been to 1 Super Bowl and lost that Super Bowl. And they were talking about the quarterbacks. Mahomes, he's young. Will he be nervous? Will Jimmy G be nervous? And I actually heard one of the panelists said, Jimmy G's not going to be nervous. They tell you that Jimmy G, first of all, he's super good looking. And when you're good looking, you're very comfortable in your own skin. And you just know, he actually said, this is like sports analysis. He said, that kind of confidence that you walk around with when you're as good looking as Jimmy Garoppolo, well, that follows you onto the field. And you have that confidence. I thought, wow, it may be, but usually we don't get to that thread until there's like 2 or 3 days left before the game. We're in the initial. We could still be talking about the dominant defensive line for the 49ers. We don't really have to get to the ridiculous stuff. But I hope if the 49ers do win and Jimmy G is the interview afterward, if they ask him how he did it, I hope he says, well, I just looked in the mirror before I went out there. I realized how good looking I am. And I said, hey, I have the confidence to beat anybody. And that's really what happened.
I would start watching sports if that kind of thing happened more often.
Well, there you go. I'm telling you, you ought to check out Jimmy G.
Yeah.
I'm turning you on to quarterbacks. Now, Patrick Mahomes has his girlfriend from when he was 12 or something.
That lady?
That lady, the one who screams, the one who's like screaming to the world.
Yeah.
I've
About, like,
already got
haters?
him. He's pinned down.
We showed you haters. And by the way, he's mine.
All right. We opened up the even more headlines. And,
we did.
We didn't really do
Got a good
all right.
Quick story for you. Baseball Hall of Fame votes were yesterday, and Derek Jeter got all but one vote.
Who is that idiot? Who didn't vote for Derek Jeter?
He would have been the second player to unanimously get into the
On the
Hall of
first
Fame.
ballot.
On the first ballot, yes.
What do you think? You're a baseball guy.
Well, I went. First place I looked was the Boston Globe, and
Because it'd be like a Boston writer.
yeah,
as
and
the Red Sox.
all their writers voted for him. So
Will this person out themselves at some point?
they would
you
have
think?
to because it's anonymous.
Right. Do you think they will? Because I think it's some sort of branding thing.
Yeah, I'm the obstinate one.
Yeah. I mean, who?
Oh, he was on a great team. It wasn't him. It
It doesn't
his
matter
team.
if he's on a great team. You
Oh,
could
the
be-
pitching was amazing.
You could be on a
obviously.
great team and still stink.
Larry Walker wasn't on a good team.
Look at the Braves. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, we got lots of impeachment audio for you. The big trial. You know, they're having a big trial in the Senate.
What?
I don't know if you heard about that. We don't have a lot of time here. Apparently, there's the people are. One side says one thing. It's like I feel like James Dean in that stupid movie. You say this and you tell me that. You tear me apart. Yeah, that's great acting.
You're tearing me apart, Lisa.
Yeah, that's not.
Thank
that's
God
not-
they're bringing him back digitally.
Yeah, that's not over the top acting.
No.
Ugh. Actually, he was a good actor, but it's seen in the third movie that he's not the star of called Giant. He's fantastic in that. And if you see that, you'll go, wow, he was going to be another, De Niro,
Brad Pitt.
Brando, that kind of. What'd you say?
Brad Pitt?
Brad Pitt's a fine actor.
Okay, well, the way that you reacted, I thought maybe I was being silly.
He
but
was
I thought
a
he
handsome
great
man.
Yeah, it was like.
He was very handsome.
Are you talking about Brad Pitt or are you talking
No,
about.
I'm talking about the late great friend of mine who passed away.
Burt Reynolds?
No, don't talk about him. He's a scumbag.
Still? You're both dead.
Well,
There's
I don't
no
talk
need.
to him up here in heaven.
You're in heaven?
Both of us.
Stupidest song of all time. Abacab. Apparently it's based on guitar chords. A-B-A-C-C-A-B. All right, guys. I guess they knocked off early and went to lunch that day.
Oh, Gabriel had left.
Gabriel wasn't there at this time.
Right, he had left, so.
Well, no. See, this is something that is not known about the early Genesis. And I'm a huge Peter Gabriel fan, and I'm just learning this. Peter Gabriel wrote very little of the songs.
All
Very
those
few.
goofy songs from
No,
the
they were
psychedelic?
They were written by committee until The
Oh.
Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. He wrote every song on that.
Okay.
There you go. You've learned something, folks. I know you tuned in for all impeachment all the time, but now you know. You heard it here first. And by the way, in all the mercurial changes of the career of Genesis, let's get one thing straight. It's about one member and always has been. Tony Banks. Thank you very much. Okay, now we can move on to politics and other things. Before we get there, baseball, Braves. Who'd they pick up yesterday?
We got Marcell Ozuna, the guy that tormented us in the division series.
How
when
many
we played
millions
the
of
Cardinals.
dollars are we giving him for 1 year of mercenary work?
$18 million, Eric.
You know what? Not so much against the Braves. They're playing the game that all baseball is playing. It's annoying. I'll tell you as a casual fan, I'm not like Tim Andrews or Mark Arum. I didn't grow up. I don't collect baseball cards. Basically, I get interested in baseball if the Braves are playing well. If the Braves aren't playing well, I tune in maybe the second round, divisional series, something like that, and I start and I'll watch the World. I'll usually watch the World Series, or at least a few of the games of the important games. So I'm a casual fan, and it's annoying with baseball. It's all mercenaries. It seems like every team picks one player, one or two players that stick, and they're with the team.
Like Freddie Freeman.
Freddie Freeman is the guy now. Chipper at a time when they had more than that was the guy then. And then all of baseball, to me, seems like, because all that excited about, the bringer of rain, get your umbrellas out, woo, that's not something that can't roll over into 2 seasons? I mean, the Big Red Machine in the 70s, the Cincinnati Red, the heart of that team was together from like 1971 to 78 or something.
They didn't have free agency then.
Okay, and I want players to make money, but it has gotten to the point now where one, they're all mercenaries. You pick one or two guys that are your team faces, and then it's just a band of mercenaries put together for a year. And two, I believe every one of these mercenaries, like every baseball player who's not on the Yankees, all they're doing their entire career is an audition to one day be a New York Yankee. That really and then when all this happens, the Yankees sweep up the ones they want, and then, well, there's the Astros and maybe the Dodgers and the Red Sox will pick up the others. It's just, as a fan, it is, how do you get, I'm just rooting for laundry, the pajamas, the uniform. It would be nice to, say what you want about Matt Ryan. He's a Falcon. We've had the ups, we've had the downs. That's the ride you're supposed to take with the people that are on your team. And there's turnover in football, and they're not immune from it, but it's not like baseball. It just seems like, I'm sure we'll have many more stories about another person the Braves paid X number of $1 million for 1 year. And it's like you have no building process. It's just like, okay, we gave a whole, all right, let's go see if we can win a World Series. And then the other side of that is, don't fall in love with these guys. Even if we win a World Series, we can't afford to bring them all back next year. So there's no living and breathing and growing together.
It's going to get worse because they're getting rid of the farm systems. So it'll just be the major league, and the farm systems will be independent of themselves, and then it'll all be like that, mercenary-like, going out and paying. And
it's like Josh Donaldson, so none of that was real. He had, sorry, somebody offered me $1.50 more. Bye. I'm going to bring the rain there. And for
Minnesota.
1 year, did they give him more? He wanted 4 years, so they gave him something.
They gave him the 4 years, $92 million with incentives.
Yeah, how fun. He'll probably get hurt in 7 games. I'm not wishing that upon him. I'm just saying, if a guy that you've loved for years gets hurt, oh, man, we love that guy. We'll get him back in 4 months. It'll be fine. Just like you can't, there's no loving, like falling in love with a team and players. And boy, those guys are Braves. Like they've been here for 5, 6, and we had that horrible season, and then we started winning, and then there was the letdown season, and then we almost went. But it's like there were 4, 5, or 6 guys that were there the whole time. Something gets lost in it. I think.
Have one bad year in baseball, they begin the rebuilding process. And they start trading the pieces away before the trade deadline. Trade deadline in MLB is extremely exciting, but I can see where you're coming from on that point.
Yeah, well, what other guy we get to come here who doesn't give a damn about what city they're in, who they're playing for? I'm not an idealist, and I'm a capitalist, and I want people to make money, and I think the profit motive is good, and it gets the best out of people. But this mercenary thing that's just, I crushed your hopes last year for $18 million. You can have me for 1 year, but just for 1 year. Donaldson was a jerk when he came in. And then I started to really like him. You remember when he first came in and, hey, take a look back at my baseball card if you want to see. Okay, look, he's a reporter. He's asking a question. You have to put an attitude to him. You could say something like, wow, it's great to be in Atlanta. I've always thought the Braves organization was fantastic. It's a dream come true. Look at the back of my baseball card. Want to see what I do? That stupid hair of his. Takes a lot. Meanwhile, over at the Atlanta Hawks, Trae Young is being held hostage and he can't get out. What is a couple nights ago at 42 points again in a loss?
Yeah.
At least he's going to get in the All-Star game. Right? I'm right about that. There's no way he can't be kept out of the All-Star game.
If he doesn't get voted in, he's definitely going to get picked.
Yeah, he's got to be in. He's one of the best players. But,
can't wait till he's on the Knicks.
The Hawks have just the greatest. Why would you go to the Knicks?
Well, that's what I'm hoping for because I'm a Knicks fan.
Are you a Knicks fan?
Used to be when I paid attention, yes.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, that's like the Hawks. Don't do that. Build around this guy. Let's have some. I know it's not a sports show, but that's my problem with baseball. How do I fall in? Remember in the middle of the summer, it was so awesome with the umbrellas and the bringer of rain, and that's usually I'm used to a team that I love. That guy's going to be there the next year, right? I mean, this isn't a one night stand. Wow, that was a great night, and then he left me. for a richer person.
Well, and the Braves are notorious, too, for signing players that torment them, that might not necessarily have the numbers. Like this guy, Ozuna, his batting average wasn't that great during the year.
Oh, yeah, it was like
247, I believe is what it was, which is...
Wow, if it was 248, he would have gotten $23 million for 1 year.
Why only 1 year?
Lucky.
Why not more than 1 year?
Because he's trying to... Braves we're almost like a one-and-done team now. Like, if you're one of these players that's 4 years into your career or long in your career, and you're looking for that big contract, but what happened to this guy last year? He didn't have a great year. Was he hurt through a lot of the year or whatever? Like Donaldson had somebody... Like, Donaldson came to the Braves to prove to the league he deserved a good 4-year contract, right?
Correct.
And the Braves couldn't afford him. So is this guy kind of doing the same thing?
He's kind of following the same mold. He had suffered an injury, I want to say 2 years ago, with his throwing arm primarily, and like he's got one of the weakest arms in the game. But
that's a good thing, because if he had a stronger arm, he'd be $27 million for a year. It's idiotic. All that being said, if he hits 37 home runs. But the thing about Josh Donaldson, what did that cost us? $26 million for a year or something?
I want to say $22 million was Donaldson.
Okay, so it was about $500,000 per run. But then when we got to the postseason, he really didn't. In the middle of the summer, he was carrying the team. And you get to the postseason, there's no guarantee his bat fell as dead as everybody else's.
It's classic Braves, Eric, man. The second the weather starts cooling off, the bats cool off. Weather gets hot, bats are hot.
Well, we're bringing in these one-year mercenaries. They should be immune to this sort of thing. They're not Braves. So. They're not Braves. Josh Donaldson was never a Brave. He's not on it anymore, but I was watching the monitor. That George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband, who hates Trump, was on CNN for like an hour. And I know that Trumpers get mad when anybody brings it up, but damn it, it's weird. It's weird. Kellyanne Conway is probably, would you say, the staunchest defender of the president that I can think of?
Certainly, in his administration, for sure.
The staunchest, she's been there from the beginning, from the campaign, all the way through. Staunch defender, never backs. And then her husband goes on television and calls her boss whatever he believes is fine. I have no problem with that. People get married. They have different political beliefs. It's fine. But it's weird that he's basically going on other stations saying, my wife should be out of a job, and damn soon. This is killing. What my wife is doing is hurting the nation, and it would be like my wife showing up on TV telling people, do not listen to the Von Haessler Doctrine. I mean, that dude is evil, and he spreads nothing but lies. I'm sorry. Remember that whole thing where I was on the side of... I think, who was it? It was Wolf Blitzer or somebody that he kept asking about her husband going on other shows. And I know the Trumpers, and she said, oh, you're trying to get me. No, damn it, it's weird. Yeah. It's just plain weird that the president's staunchest defender in his administration has a husband who goes on CNN and MSNBC both and talks about how the American people need to put his wife out of a job, and soon. Because if everything he's saying about Trump, if he really believes it, then what does he think about Trump's staunchest defender believes what Trump does? When you speak against him, you're speaking against her, and then you go home. And I think that's what, I don't think that there's anything inappropriate asking questions about that. Because once again, let me put it in plain language, to Trumpers and non-Trumpers alike, damn it, it's weird. It's just weird. It's not like James Carville and what's-her-face?
Mary Matlin.
Those two, they were on different sides. They ran different campaigns. They fell in love during the campaign. They always show up together, and they spar with each other on their political beliefs. This guy wants to put his wife's boss, whom she is the most staunch defender of, in jail. Damn it, it's weird.
I want to say in his defense, their house hasn't been cleaned since January 2017.
I knew you'd get one of those.
Yeah, they want to stay together. They have 4 kids, Eric. They got to stay together for the kids.
Yeah, totally.
A lot of people don't stay together who have 4 kids. It's just weird. It would be one thing if she was just somebody who worked in the administration. You didn't hear much of her. And you go, oh, that's kind of weird. His wife works as the undersecretary of the Transportation Authority or something. But the staunchest defender of the president has a husband. Damn it, it's weird. That's all I have to say. You have a little Schumer because he gives his press conference every day. Again, they just make it so obvious that this Eric von Haessler is right. Impeachment is being used as a novel campaign tool, a tool to win back the White House, if not the White House, trying to win the Senate. So what does Schumer say?
The very first thing the American people saw when they tuned into the impeachment trial of President Trump was Republican senators voting against having a fair trial with relevant evidence. It's clear that the American people overwhelmingly support a fair trial and overwhelmingly support witnesses and documents.
Stop.
It was a
It's clear that this show is not being put on for the jurors. There's only 100 people that can decide this case, so everything that is said and done should be to persuade the jurors, the 100 senators, to be on your side. So if you keep on talking about the American people and what the American people believe, I hate to say this, at this point in the process, the American people have nothing to say about it. In November, they will. You are supposed to be putting on a case to persuade 20 Republicans to join the Democrats to remove this man from office. There's not one American that isn't a senator that can do anything to remove this president. So when you start talking about how the American, what they tuned in and what they saw, you're trying to gin it up, right? Prime the pump. Let me put into your mind how you responded to what you saw. You give away the game. The game isn't about trying to persuade 20 Republicans to join you to remove a president. This is a television show that's put on for the American people, and it's not done. We have more today.
Today on the Impeachment Show,
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
We are all very, very sleepy, but nevertheless, we will persist.
California Representative and Impeachment Manager Adam Schiff.
This is just another stalling tactic by the Republicans to keep me from being able to see myself on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah.
One of the other impeachment managers, Representative Jerry Nadler. Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, John Roberts.
In the 1905 Swain trial, a senator objected when one of the managers used the word pettifogging.
President Donald Trump. This is a witch hunt. You never know what's going to happen, so tune in. Only on
ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, MSNBC, C-SPAN, C-SPAN 2, C-SPAN 3, CNN, Fox News.
The von Haessler Doctrine is the only show that is covering this for exactly what it is, a campaign tactic, and we'll find out how it lands in November. That's the truth. That's what it really is. I don't care that people can go to WSBradio.com and the WSB Radio app and listen to this boring television show, radio show, whatever. Look, I would say don't do it. What I would say is you only have so many days on this earth. Are you going to waste them listening to these people try to convince you that they're sincere and they're an august body? Please, go out, take a walk, get some fresh air, enjoy yourself. Tune in to me. I'll let you know what's really going on. We have to go over and do the Podcast 30. You can join us there by going to the Von Haessler Doctrine Facebook page or the WSB Radio Facebook page. Click on the red box. Voila. There we are. We have some things to talk about. We just got some kind of thing on Facebook, and one of our Facebook... What are they? Red flagged us?
Yeah, fact checked it.
Fact checked. We've been fact checked. That and more on the other side. Until... Thanks for listening to the Von Haessler Doctrine podcast. Remember, you can hear the show every weekday from 9 to noon right here on 95.5 WSB, Atlanta's News and Talk.
Marijuana.
Yeah.
I get impeached.
Marijuana.
Marijuana.
I get impeached.
I ain't dead. I get impeached.
I'm not gonna die. Marijuana.
Wake up, WSB. All right.
Everyone Haessler.
All these voices in my head.
People's voices.
Podcast 30 begins right here and right now. Eric Von, there it is. That's how you know. That noise. There you go. That's the beginning.
I like that noise.
And we got Tim Andrews, we got English Nick, J-Rad rocking the tunes, if that's what you want to call him. Autumn Fisher is doing something over there.
Rocking the noise.
Rock
the Casbah.
Oh,
put you back on the screen there.
Bit fuzzy today, Autumn.
Hey, she got her hair done. Nice job, Autumn.
Did you get your hair done, Autumn?
I just blew it out this morning. That's all.
All right. We don't need to know TMI, huh?
Pete helped me.
Fellers? Wow.
It was cute. He's really into the hairdryer.
She's turning him.
She's trying. It's okay. Don't go there because people will be tuning in and they'll think that we're homophobes.
No,
and I don't want that. I don't want that. If I was truly a homophobe, I'd be willing to be thrown off the air for it. But since I'm not, I don't want.
He likes the buttons. He likes the buttons on the hairdryer.
She wants
and
her son to be gay.
He's been using it on me. He's been like drying my hair.
Grooming.
And he says, "I want to make you into a princess."
Well, I've never heard. Actually, it is actual grooming because you're grooming him and he's grooming your hair. So it is grooming all the way around.
I'm not grooming anyone.
You're grooming him. You're looking for. You want your son to be gay, and it's starting with Barbie dolls and hairstyles.
It's not that
Which
I
is, by
want.
the way, fine.
Hey, it's fine.
It's not that I want him to be gay. It's that if he is gay, it's like a bonus.
But
it was like when I was pregnant and I was worried he'd be deaf. I was like, well, maybe that'd be kind of cool.
Wow.
Why were you worried he'd be deaf? You thought it might be something that would be
Did
wrong
it ever
with
occur to you while you have a kid, maybe he'll grow up and be the next Steve Jobs, change the world,
Sure,
make
maybe
a lot
that.
of money?
Listen, that's fine
why
too.
is the sexuality and the individual, why is all that so important?
It's not important at all. Do you think? Who said it's important? I'm
Hang
just
on.
saying.
In Autumn's defense here, you talked about her letting him use the hairdryer and saying it would make him into a gay man. You know.
No, I
so
said
she's saying. Oh, Tim said.
No,
Who said that?
he said-
I
Well,
think he thinks
here's
it's
a
a gun.
question.
I think he thinks the hairdryer's a gun.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Here's a
Violent little
question with all the. Let me ask you a question, Autumn. This just hit me in. Do you think if this is really an open conversation about life and sexuality,
round table,
and
if you will.
yeah, and all,
Yeah.
is it ever possible? Is it conceivable that somebody?
It's already been conceived. So that's a long time ago.
Can I finish?
Yeah, sorry.
No.
Is it conceivable that somebody could choose to remain in the closet and objectively speaking, that person made the right choice?
Hang on, the person who's making the decision to stay in the closet?
They just decided, you know what? I'm in the closet, I'm gay, and I think I'll have a more comfortable life if I just keep that to myself. Would that ever be seen objectively as, well, for that person, yeah,
Okay,
they were happier.
So I mean, of course you can say would it ever, then sure, probably. You know,
Right.
if it was some sort of protection or something, or
Well, no, I don't mean that. I mean, just the person goes, I just don't. I don't want to go to Miami. I don't want to hang out in clubs. I don't want to. I just.
Yeah. But you're thinking of a stereotype version of a homosexual.
Right.
There's a lot of different versions
Yeah.
of homosexuality.
Well, of course,
There's
don't
the like.
lecture me. I know people. I know everybody is
I'm not
everybody.
lecturing. Who's lecturing you?
I've met everybody. I'm talking about somebody who's 23 or 24.
Listen,
I'm not talking
so
about
I
people who
think-
settle down and get married.
I think it doesn't have to just be about being in the closet as a homosexual. It could be just being in the closet about who you are as an authentic human. And if you don't do that, then that's going to have repercussions in other areas of your life.
I'm just saying, if it's just a conversation,
I'm into it.
Then wouldn't you figure that every once in a while, it seems to me like
Of course.
an orthodoxy starts from the other side that says, well, you can't be happy or your best self or whatever without doing X, Y, and Z. And I would apply that to a million different things, not just this. But
Yeah.
And I wonder if it becomes like almost like an orthodoxy, like, well, no, you can't be. Anyway, good.
Well, I was going to say, if you're willing to live, you'd have to live part of your life secretly if that was the case. If you crave people of the same sex, but you don't want it to be open to the world, then you'd have
if
to
you're
live
a
with somebody
traveling
secretly.
businessman, it's no problem.
Sure. Yeah, well, yeah.
Sure,
there's
if you
different
don't
things, yeah.
involve someone else.
Yeah.
Coffee
Well,
and a
no,
bagel.
no, wait a minute. As long as
Two
you're-
coffees. I like those
Yeah.
places that only serve coffee.
I mean, no, about somebody else. That's like any single person. I mean, you have to be, you're a one night stander. As long as you're going out with people who think that are cool with that, then that's fine.
Yeah.
You can't, string people along.
If you want to talk about, like you said, objectively, and is it ever possible? Of course. But you could say it's not a great argument.
So you're saying
because-
a broken clock is right twice a day.
Exactly.
But see,
you can't
I don't
say
know.
never. Yeah.
Because
listen, I understand what you're saying, but I think honestly, my thought, without the sort of, like you said, the orthodoxy of like, you have to come out of the closet,
Right.
or else you'll be ruined forever. If you are in the closet, then you really are shutting off a part of who you authentically are.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, if you choose to do that, that's fine, but it is going to have
But
a
what if you're
repercussion
not?
in probably another part
No,
of your life.
Hold on, but what if you're not? What if you're perfectly cool with it? What if it doesn't drive you crazy?
Yeah.
What if
It's
it,
not
wait,
about
what if-
driving you
no, no,
crazy.
But what if you don't even, you just think that, look, put it this way. Everybody, no matter what their sexuality is, we all put a face on for the world. Like, none of us is absolutely and completely, maybe when we're trashed, but I mean, other than that, or sleeping, talking in your sleep, none of us really, we all have a kind of a face that we put on for the world. We're all kind of actors. We're all kind of like, we have an image of ourselves that we want other people to.
You're talking about boundaries in a way.
But couldn't you see, couldn't you say that about anything that you're kind of holding? Like what, I'm trying to think of something that's not sexuality, but that would be something that,
Like if
you
your
just don't want
political
people-
affiliation.
Right, right. What if you're a Trumper and you live in New York City and you have no problem with being a Trumper, but you've looked around, you say, okay, my job, my friends, you know what? I'm just going to keep this to myself. It doesn't drive you crazy, but couldn't you say
I
the same thing?
understand that.
You're
I
not
understand that.
exploring your full self publicly?
No, I understand that argument. I don't think it equally applies because sexuality is something totally different. Sexual desire is different than political opinion.
See, I'm not saying that you wouldn't have sex with the people you want to have sex with. I'm saying you would keep that to yourself.
Sure.
As a way of self-preservation.
Whatever.
Okay,
or just,
so when
or
you
just,
say,
you just don't want your
listen,
grandmother
so
to find out
person's-
because she's
that's not being in the closet. I don't think that's being in the closet.
So you're saying being in the closet means that you know that you're attracted to the same sex and you don't act on it and you keep that to yourself.
Yes.
No,
you don't
being in the
act on
closet
it.
means people don't know you're gay, but you do act on it.
What?
No.
Yeah, people
Oh,
who
we
are
have a difference
closeted.
of
No,
opinion.
now
people
we
who
go-
are closeted, they just don't put a public face out.
Right.
But they can still do whatever they want in their
Wouldn't it
private
be
life.
both? I would think certainly
Well, I
there's an awful
guess,
lot of
yeah.
people who would
Listen,
not do it.
then that means that if you're single and you're just having sex with the opposite sex, then you're in the closet about heterosexuality because you're not putting a face on it.
You wouldn't
don't have
need
to
to be.
come out as anything. You could just say
that's the norm, so you wouldn't need to be.
Uh-oh, don't use the word
No, I
norm.
said
not the norm.
norm. What,
It is
being
the
straight is
hold
the
on,
norm.
Hold on.
Get out of here.
Hold on. This is where we have to get objective here and have no emotions.
That's
norm
fine. No
is
emotions.
norm is a math logic term. It only means it's most. We take the term norm as normal and we do things. Here's the thing. There are two things that are the norm, because I've had this argument with people who are anti-gay. And, it's not normal. No, it's not most of the population. So you could say two things.
Okay.
It's normal or the norm that most of a population is heterosexual, but it's also part of the norm that a portion of the population will be homosexual, because we don't know of any society at any time where there were no homosexuals. So therefore, both things are the norm, but I think people get triggered when you say normal.
And I listen, and I
Normal's the wrong
was
word for all
triggered
that anyway.
I was triggered just now, and you have a point.
And
So
you're not
sorry,
even
Tim.
gay. She was triggered and she wasn't even gay.
Oh, come on. Leave me alone. So listen,
It's just her love
I
of
do.
RuPaul.
On SNL, coming up soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's hosting.
Exciting.
Yeah, one for you, one for me. JJ Watt's hosting as well.
So I think what we think about coming out of being out of the closet or being closeted, I think that there's like a entertainment perspective on that word, and then there's just like a real life perspective. If someone has been hiding that because they are afraid of themselves being gay, they're afraid of what it looks like to other people, disappointing people, that's like in a real life situation, then you are closeted, and then you quote have to come out of the closet because you have to admit to yourself who you are,
Right.
and then admit to people who
Right.
are close to you who you are, because you have been pretending. And then if you're in entertainment or something, you do kind of have to, you don't have to, but people choose to come out because of another, again, like you're still hiding your personality, you're hiding that thing from the
But
world.
what I'm
Because
trying to throw out there is, isn't it possible that
Oh, I know what you're saying.
someone would just say, you know what? I'm in charge of my life. I know the life that I want to live.
Yeah.
Inside, I don't care that I'm gay. I have no problem at all. But I've made a decision that, you know what, I'm going to keep it to myself. I'm just wondering if all of the enlightened people in the world would be okay with that, or they say, no, there's something you're just not admitting to yourself.
Well, that could be everybody, because the enlightened people in the world are full of all kinds of people who go overboard with it, and then people who have brains. So I think
that sounds like judgment to me.
It is judgment. I'm fine.
Right.
Judge away. But I think that when you there are boundaries that you're allowed to keep in your life. I'm not exposing every single thing about myself, some things about my sexuality or what I like or something, because that's a boundary for me.
Right.
If other people want to have that boundary also and say like, what's that?
What is that, by the way? The thing that you like,
that
you won't admit.
worship.
What? You like what? You like what?
So
what did she
nothing.
say?
Feet. What? Worship and what?
No. Rewind the tape. You can listen back to the podcast.
No, I
if you
missed it. I talked over.
So if you, there are boundaries that you're allowed to keep, and I don't think that that's closeted. Just because someone is not like carrying the flag, leader of the parade, you know, that doesn't mean that you're closeted. You're just someone who's gay.
Well, I think so. Now, Michael Stipe is out of the closet, but a lot of, I think, because he's so big on political causes, I think a lot of gay groups are kind of upset with him because he never really leads the charge. He's made a decision. I don't want to lead the charge on that. He's out of the closet. Everybody knows.
People are allowed to just have sex privately.
Yeah,
just
well,
not talk about what
that's a different. Yeah, that's a different thing.
What charge do you need anymore? Sorry, Nick, but what charge do you need anymore? It is almost globally not globally, but it's almost universally accepted in our country.
Sure.
And, we all accept it, except Jared.
Yeah.
And
he's got issues.
Well, the mics go off.
So many problems.
Yeah, he's got issues.
But my question is like, people can do whatever they want to do. And that's been the battle that we've fought for all these years.
Live and let live.
Live and let live.
4 simple words.
And we're at that point now. So what happens when you get to that point? Well, the younger people have to keep going and keep the revolution.
Because, and I'm not advocating for religion, but there is a decline in religion. And so you do have, we are humans, our brains want to put things in categories. We are a herd species. We want to be part of a group. So you do
part of your group.
You want, see, and that's fine. You don't want to be
a part me as a member of a herd species.
We are. We don't want to upset the herd. We don't want to do.
You know what?
You're part of the Bills herd.
No, you know what?
You're part of the Bills herd.
This is hurting my feelings.
You heard?
So we want to be parts of groups. We want to identify and group things. I forgot my point because
I know. Well, I want to be the leader. I don't care what group I'm in as long as I'm the leader.
You said you weren't advocating for religion, but there's a decline.
Oh, yes. So
by the way, we're all in the South. It's okay to advocate for religion.
If we don't have a religious affiliation or like a group think about religion, then we want to try and, one, talk about the apocalypse, the end of times is coming because the earth is going to explode and it's our fault. Or because, quote, we're sinners. And we're going to, the apocalypse is, that kind of thing.
The same thing. You're 100% right.
Are we sinners?
Right.
Are you a sinner?
Or you decide what team you're on.
baptized.
We have to keep fighting for something because these people are bad and these people are good. And if you're on this team, then you're good. And if you're on that team, you're bad.
We do have a herd mentality, I guess.
We are we're a herd species. That's where we come.
Instead of revelations, you have, in 10 years, we're all going to die because of the planet.
Why don't you go to sociology, get yourself a college course, a degree? You could give TED Talks.
Yeah.
You don't have to know.
Hey, you can listen to more talk like this on one topic.
Oh, what does Greg just sit there silent?
No, you're right.
No, we both talk. We both talk a lot.
Oh, that's right.
Eric,
he's got a good therapist, so he's
Eric, you don't understand how this. You don't understand how this works, but one person, when they're not talking, they're listening. And when the other person is...
What a joke.
Wait, Autumn, say something about identity, and then I want to hear what topic.
Your identity is really something that is personal to you. It's something that you project out there. It's for people... What am I supposed to stop?
No, I was just listening, but I agree with you 100%.
Let's start over. I didn't understand the game.
Set the game. Set the game.
Okay, so
action.
I think that identity is something that is inherent, but it is also something that is sort of given to you growing up.
Me too.
Yeah, and I think it's really important that when we talk about identity, we don't also shame the people who it's maybe they're afraid of something like that.
Me too.
So what I'm hearing here is Greg does a lot more listening.
Yes, you know what? He's very good at listening.
Yes, get lectured.
one lecture.
One lecture. That's more like that's your podcast, Greg. Is one lecture.
All right, we have to get to something that's going on at 2 + 2 = 4 page.
I'm Eric Vogt Haessler. Let me lecture you for an hour.
Hey, you know
One
what?
lecture.
I've made a good amount of money.
Let me tell you why. In 10 minutes, too long.
Here's today's lecture.
Did you know this? You're the queen of 2 + 2 = 4 group, Autumn. You should know this.
Oh, yeah?
Jared knows
Is this
it.
the fact check thing that just
Yeah,
popped up
it's a
a few
fact
minutes
check.
ago? Yeah, I saw that.
It's our
What
first
happened?
fact. It's your first fact check.
Yeah.
Me?
No, there's a fact check from somebody on. Do you know how fact checks work on Facebook? They flag
Oh,
if you
yes, I
if you
do.
put
Yes,
up
yes,
an
yes.
article that they've decided is false, they flag it. They won't remove
Mm-hmm.
it, but they flag it to let people know that this was found false. Okay,
I saw
you
that.
don't have to tell me the users. There's no need for that.
And in our case, since we're the admins, it alerted us about it.
One of your it doesn't show up on the public page. I think that they were putting it on the public page to let people know so that they wouldn't have disinformation allowed.
They're alerting us as the admin saying what's going to be on the public page.
Right. All right. So don't tell me the person who posted it. That doesn't matter. What was the article that was posted?
Okay, it's false. Eastwood.
No, not false. Tell me, what is the name of the article?
Eastwood didn't write a viral letter about Trump, I think is the original.
Okay,
post.
so
It's
there's
called
some.
State Lawmakers Pro-Trump Letter Wrongly Attributed to Clint Eastwood.
Okay, so there's a thing going around, and this happens all the time in the internet. It's written by somebody, and then for somewhere along the line, somebody says, because I guess if it's anti-Trump, if you put Eastwood's name on it, I mean, see, even Clint Eastwood, is that what it was? Is it anti-Trump?
It looks like it, yes.
Okay, so
No,
is it
it's
okay?
No,
tell
it's
me.
pro-Trump.
It's pro-Trump.
Pro-Trump, excuse me. Yeah.
Okay, so so it turns out it wasn't Eastwood. So in fact, Facebook is doing a good job, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So they gave us the notification that says false information found in 2 + 2 = 4. Blank user shared information that's been reviewed by PolitiFact. We've added a notice to the post so others can see that it's false. Learn more about how fact checking works.
Now
on
here's
Facebook.
the thing. I don't really like the idea that PolitiFact is the be all and end all of everything because I think they have their point of view. I mean, I bet you if you put up we should try this out. Put up a criticism of the climate change stuff. And see if they decide, if PolitiFact says, well, 97% of scientists, I wonder about that. In a case like this, it's pretty simple. Clint Eastwood either did or didn't write the letter. It's an A or B, and it's very simple.
Right.
They're not all simple. This is not necessarily opinion. I'm wondering how PolitiFact works if you put up an article that says, as far as I'm concerned, we are not inside of a 10-year window where things have to be done or else the world's going to end from climate change. Would that get flagged based on 90% of scientists say the other way? So is that now considered a fact? That would be interesting to find out.
I'm issuing the challenge
On
to
this
the
one, it
Facebook
worked.
chat.
On this
I'm
one, it
gonna
worked.
I'm gonna assume that some page like that would not flag something like that because it is an opinion.
It's an opinion.
Yeah,
so,
be careful.
yeah.
Be careful.
But this
though.
is a fact. This is Eric. This is a 2 + 2 = fact.
Yes, Eastwood either did or didn't write. It certainly
Right.
is. So
Trump's campaign manager in New York State or one of those states up there wrote that.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
So that's an easy one. But I'm just wondering if I put up an article by this guy, he wrote a book called The Skeptical Environmentalist. Very smart dude from Sweden or something. And he makes a lot of great points. He actually accepts the United Nations data. He just says the way that it's being reported is incorrect. Now I wonder if you put up one of his articles, that's certainly in this day and age an unorthodox point of view. Is it considered false? That would be because a lot of these people are like, we can't let this disinformation go because the planet,
Well, I like what
planet is too important.
Underneath this, Facebook puts their general mission statement for how they're going to handle news like that. It says, to fight false news, Facebook pushes misleading content farther down in news feed and provides additional articles on the same topic. If a group repeatedly shares false news, Facebook may push all of that group's content down in news feed, which may mean fewer people visit the group. Facebook may also stop suggesting that people join the group.
We don't care about that. It's a secret.
They would suggest they not join the group.
No, he said they would stop suggesting. It wouldn't be in suggestions. If you're in this group, you might want to be in that group.
I thought it was like, I want to join, like, Facebook.
You sure? There's a lot of false information flying around in there.
Let us tell you how you should think.
Yes. Well, it's tough when you're in Facebook's. I like the fact that didn't Twitter just said, we're just not gonna run ads.
Right.
It was Twitter still not make money. I just saw Shaney B. Every time I see Shaney B last couple of days, he's like, "You owe me money." I don't owe him money. He forgets that I paid him money. How do you forget that I paid him money?
I don't know.
He helps me write commercials and stuff. What were you implying?
Nothing.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know.
With bullies like you, I can see why people make certain choices.
I don't know.
Twitter made money last year. They just started making money recently because they had a huge influx of cash coming from investors.
Is it real money?
But they are, now they are making money because they've streamlined a lot of things.
It's weird how like businesses can be very successful and still not have a profit.
Well, so many companies. Uber, as you have like California, we got to do more for the drivers. But Uber's nowhere near a profit. Never turned a profit.
Really?
Tesla is going.
I know, isn't that weird?
Tesla stock is going through the roof. Tesla's never turned a profit. DoorDash never turned a profit. Uber Eats never turned a profit. Grubhub never turned a profit. All quite
so how
popular.
Do people pay them? How do you pay
because
the bosses?
venture capitalists put money in because they believe that at some point, and when the profit comes, they get like 40% of it right off the top.
Yeah.
So they're investing. They're venture capitalists. They used to be called angel investors. They will help you start up because they believe in your idea. But some of these, like Grubhubs and stuff, these venture capitalists are like, okay, we need, great. I use you. My neighbors use you. I need to see how we're going to make money off this.
Yeah.
And if they, so many of these companies, if they lose the next round of venture capital, they're done. It's weird. Tesla's on fire. Tesla has gained like 40% on Wall Street in the last, 2 or 3 months.
Well, they're revolutionizing the car market because a lot of premium used cars are not selling like they used to.
Right,
and it's because people are choosing to get Teslas instead.
I get that, but Tesla's not making any money. They're nowhere near making any money. So it's the people. Now, they do it not with venture capitalists. They do it with stockholders. What did you say?
I said I could use a bailout.
Yeah, you need a bailout.
Please, I'll take anything you give me.
I don't know. It's weird. And then these guys they give their TED Talks. I just yell, "Hey, have you made any money?"
Yeah.
I thought the idea was starting a business. Yeah.
It takes a minute,
You're changing the world. You're making the world a better.
Yeah. Have you seen the car out in space?
Don't worry, we can edit this out. Okay.
What,
sir? What?
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
But we put a car in space. There's a pretend guy driving it.
Yeah,
Starman.
You're
He's around. There's a website where you can track where it is right now.
Can you see him?
I don't think so. I thought
no, I don't think
so. You can't see him.
No, but you can track where he is.
Well, they say. How do you know?
Yeah, they never even went to space.
I know. It's
in
online.
a garage in L.A. someplace.
What do they call it? Not disrupting. Yeah. No, you're going to disrupt the market. You going to make any money?
No.
At all?
I'm going to dig holes in
the
the
city. Because I could just open a hamburger stand, and within 6 months to a year, I could be making money.
Oh, next thing you know, you got the food people in there, the inspectors, and all that grab. You got to give them a little, hey, never mind. There's some clear mayonnaise on there.
It's a little.
You know how mayonnaise turns clear when it's.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
That's the good stuff.
That's the good
I
stuff.
like it when it gets clear and crusty.
Yeah, when it dries up, man.
That little, we worked at restaurants. That little bit that's on the lip.
Yeah,
that little crusty
on the lip
stuff,
of the thing that you put it
in. You shove it back in.
You mix it back
in.
A little flavor in there.
It's a wonder any of us are alive at this point.
Well,
bodies are built to fight that crap.
That's right. It's good
to
for you.
Fight that crap.
Eat some
I know, Tim. You're very
eat some dirt.
He's neat.
Upper East Coast today.
I'm a little tired today, so my actual accent comes out.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, it's really.
Are you tired? Were you up all night watching the impeachment?
No, I woke
Big
up
political
at 3.
junkie?
I woke up at 3.
No, he wasn't watching. He was listening on the WSB radio app.
Yeah, I was. Yeah. No, I just woke up at. It was good. I went to bed at 9, but I woke up.
Who's just gonna listen to it?
Me, I don't see good.
Okay, well that makes sense.
I'd like to know what's going on, Mr. Sight Shamer.
This open micer is probably listening
I'm
to
a
him.
sight shamer.
But Autumn, when I'm tired, that happens.
This angry guy, open micer, was probably listening to it all night.
Just wanted to leave a daily reminder that Brian Kemp is going to lose his next election and that Kelly Loeffler is going to lose her next election as well. I'm a Republican for now. See what happens. I'm mainly just a Trump supporter, but you can call me a Republican if you want. I will not vote for Brian Kemp. I'll vote for Stacey Abrams over Brian Kemp. And I will also vote for any Democrat over Kelly Loeffler because they're exactly the same. They are both frauds.
Wow.
I gotta go with this guy.
You're voting for Stacey Abrams?
I'm voting for Stacey over Kelly Loeffler, the big liberal. I mean, she's pro-life or choice or whatever. I gotta go with Stacey.
They're frauds.
Listen to that.
I'm Kelly Loeffler.
Leave him
I grew
out.
up on a farm.
Yawn.
Yeah.
Tim tells me.
Make sure you get up early.
Yeah. You were on a farm. Tim tells you. I haven't seen her commercials.
Oh my God.
I hear
they're almost as ubiquitous
thumbs down.
as Blomberg's.
Droopy.
Blumberg.
I'm Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this message.
Can't even say his own name.
Blumberg.
Ever since Tim pointed out this particular feature of Kelly Loeffler, I cannot unsee it.
All right,
Anytime I see the
we're
ads.
not going to go there. We're not going to go
Make me
there.
feel real loose like a. Oh, baby, that's what I like.
We're not going to go there.
It's nothing sexual.
No.
It's just
no, but
something
it's. I don't need
Throat
the trouble.
shaming.
Yeah. I don't need the trouble.
I understand.
Trying to make a living here.
Her commercials are boring, and I don't know what he was thinking because how you're going to electrify the base? I voted for things. I voted for this thing, and then I voted for this thing. That's how you want me to vote, right? Because I know that's what you wanted me to do.
I'm Kelly Loeffler.
Right.
I'm Kelly Loeffler.
Hi.
I think.
I like the same stuff you like.
Yes, I like President Trump a lot. But
Kelly-
not almost as much as the people in the suburbs. I mean, if you don't like him, I don't like him either.
Kelly Loeffler, what's your plan for victory in November to win this Senate seat?
I'm gonna vote for stuff and make sure that I get reelected again.
Are you
kind of
I'm Kelly
leadership we
Loeffler.
need?
No, you'd be reelected for the first time. You've never been elected. You've just
Again,
been, you
though,
were
like
appointed.
I'll be elected again.
Am I
the
confusing
next
you,
time.
Kelly Loeffler, with the words and?
No, listen, you're confused. What?
Kelly, let me handle it.
Right, Kelly. Why don't you speak for Kelly Loeffler?
I think she's a great candidate for this Senate
Brian?
position that
I grew up
assigned
on
her.
a farm.
Yeah, see, she grew up on a farm.
I know about hard work being on a farm.
I live in Georgia. I
Yeah.
can appreciate that.
Yeah,
Even though
'cause
she wasn't born here, she was born in Illinois, but she lived on a farm.
Yeah, she grew up in Cleveland on the Cabbage Patch Kid farm.
I'm Kelly Loeffler.
Yeah, that's
I'm
Kelly.
Kelly Loeffler.
Let's just, all right, now you try to
I
talk
want to
less.
get elected and stuff.
Yeah, try talking less.
Talking less.
I have something on this button bar that's been here so long I don't even know what it is.
Hit it.
Play it.
I don't know. It might be something we played.
Come
But
on.
it just says JFK update.
Button bar roulette.
Did we do this? Oh, I remember now.
What
you
is
did
it?
this.
What is it?
JFK. I
You
think
did this.
We'll see if it's what I think it is. It was. Oh, because the generations now, it's all about what can the government do for me.
Oh.
And then we dug this up. That it turns out JFK agreed all along.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what you can do for your country. Ask what your country can do for you. And the Kurds.
Oh, it was about the Kurds. It's when we were leaving Syria. Or
That's why I like it.
He said, F the Kurds.
I hate the Kurds more than anybody. That's what I mean. Screw them. What'd they ever do for us?
While you were playing that, I found Kelly Loeffler's ad that's been airing. If you want to
All
hear
right, I'd love to have it. I haven't seen it.
Oh, I thought I did.
You thought you did.
Let's see. Here we go.
Kelly Loeffler.
Here we go.
First bill called to my first bill called to end impeachment.
Kelly Loeffler.
My second bill supported killing the world's deadliest terrorist.
Kelly Loeffler, a businesswoman, not a career politician.
China is attacking American jobs. Iran is attacking American troops, and Congress only attacks the president. It has to stop. I'm Kelly Loeffler. I approve this message because it's time to get to work.
Did you say it has to stop? Can you say that? You sound like you were really.
Has to. You guys, it has to
I'm
stop.
Kelly Loeffler. I
Seriously.
approve this message because it's time to get to work.
Oh.
On a farm.
Oh no, that was in your past.
Yes,
We're not sending you to a farm.
My
Kelly
first
Loeffler.
bill
Yeah, but first of all, she's been
I'm
there
the third bill.
She's been there.
What?
She's been. Huh?
She's too tall for you, Bill.
She's been there.
Nope.
She's been there. 3 weeks or something?
3
so
weeks.
she's putting out bills that nobody's
No,
voting.
she voted for those bills. She
She's
didn't put 'em
acting
out.
like my
I'm
first
voting
bill.
for all the bills that I put out.
Wow,
My
she's writing
first
lots of
bill.
bills already. She's a go-getter.
And did you hear she raised on a farm?
I knew that already.
Being raised on a farm, I'm not afraid of hard work.
Or bills.
I'm not a
Jobs.
career politician.
Iran is attacking American troops, and Congress only attacks the president. It has to stop.
Congress should attack the Iranians,
I'm
right?
Mike Bloomberg, and I approve this
that-
message.
Isn't that the right thing to do?
You want
is for-
Congress to attack Iran?
They're not attacking. All they do is attack the president.
Yeah.
What they should be doing is attack Iran, because Iran is
All right.
attacking
All right.
us.
Capture that lightning in a bottle. I want more of it tomorrow.
All right, I'm
I
pulling
want
it.
exactly that.
I'll try and keep it in a bottle because that's what I'm supposed to do.
Well,
I'm Kelly Loeffler, and I approve this message because it's important to approve things when you're trying to make a thing.
It's time.
See what I'm saying? She's a smart one.
Oh, you get what?
Got a winner there.
Can't lose.
I'm ready. I'm
it's,
pumped. Can I get a hey?
Hey.
Oh. All right. That music says, as much as your host would stay for another hour and a half because he loves you.
Lies.
I gotta get home. I got new internet being put in today.
Oh.
Woo!
Well, I'll wait and see.
Where
I'm
do you want me to
cynical.
shut this internet?
I'm getting like 8.
You want it in the corner or down the basement?
Your wife's like, move it over just a little bit
Yeah,
to the
it's
left.
pretty
Wait, no, maybe to the right.
Two guys in a truck. They're like traveling it up.
2 guys in a router.
All right, bye.
Get to work.